Before we started the podcast, you were saying, like, yeah, all this stuff's hard, but like, did Tesla have such a hard time?
Yeah, so Pete
Buttigieg. Yeah.
the
Buttigieg.
transportation secretary, has his, I guess you can call it an excuse, his reasoning for why it's been moving along so slow is that they are laying the infrastructure down and making adjustments to the power grid to support these chargers, especially in areas where it's not profitable for a private company to come in and do it, which, that's kind of the job of the government with a lot of these subsidies, like the initiative to get more high-speed internet out into like the rural parts of the United States where there's no fiber or cable laid yet. But in typical government fashion, they're horrendously inefficient at it because since 2021 they've made 7 or 8, and yeah, they're laying down infrastructure and all that. But Tesla kind of did the same thing, and now I could be way off base here because I haven't looked into the timelines for Tesla's supercharging network, but it seems like they did it a lot cheaper and a lot quicker.
Let's see if it's just a Google search away to just like see how many they have and with how much time, because I do feel like there's a lot of Tesla chargers around, and they definitely do have a lot of them. I feel like the most of them that I've seen are like Wawas.
Yeah, they put
So
them
I
in a lot
wonder
of
if there's
gas
like
stations.
a deal with Wawa where like maybe Wawa was able to help.
Well, it's just in our area. Wawa's regional. But
True. Yeah.
They have a lot of superchargers at gas stations, and like I've seen them at malls, and, rest stops, places where it makes sense.
Yeah, but I wonder if those places are like helping like finance that. Does that make that process quicker?
Maybe, and because I don't know if Tesla's like leasing space,
right,
off of these pre-existing companies, like if they lease a space from Wawa in the parking lot or from the mall in the parking lot.
Because it didn't seem like they like the ones that I have like watched pop up. It didn't seem like there was like that much infrastructure that was happening.
Well, they've got to put
like a transformer,
and some other things. I mean, and that's where it like kind of differs with what the government's doing, and where I'll cut the government some slack is they're putting out infrastructure in places where there is none, where Tesla couldn't come in and just hook up to the grid, put a transformer in there and some capacitors and erect a charging station there.
So, but what's the push for that? Because
charging stations?
Well, where there isn't really much.
Well, because the goal is to switch everyone from gasoline to electric cars.
Yeah.
No matter where you live.
Yeah. Well, I would say like I don't think it really works that well where we are in more metropolitan areas. Where like I feel like they're kind of putting the cart before the horse, where it says like, hey, like they're trying to like really put them out there, but it's like I don't know if it like really works that well where we are right now yet. I mean, I don't think there's enough places that have them.
It's a chicken or the egg kind of dilemma. Like no one buys electric cars because there's nowhere to charge them. Okay, so if we build the chargers, then people have a place to charge it. But why are we building chargers if no one has electric cars?
Yeah, but I feel like if you're going out to places that like don't really have the infrastructure, like I get that like that is a necessary evil that does have to happen at some point to make the whole switch successful. But I feel like there's a little bit more I think that like they could do just in like a regular area
where it works already.
Yeah, where it works already.
Would be more likely.
Yeah,
to
make
work.
it like crazy efficient for like where it works right now.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying, because like there's always the talk of like, can our grid even handle this as it is?
Yeah,
and the answer is usually no. It cannot.
Yeah,
California has rolling brownouts every summer where they tell you to turn off your AC even though it's 100 degrees outside.
And that was before electric cars.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying, but they've got to pick somewhere to start.
And they should pick
start
where
with
it's
the grid.
Easy. They should start. Well, sure, but like they should start where it's easy. They shouldn't start with like hey, let's like put what was it 7? How many million?
They want to put 500,000 chargers in. And they're investing $7.5 billion.
Yeah, $7.5 billion, and the effect of like what? Like to me, like $7 billion is a lot to dump into anything, but like to me, it's like, well, hey, like if people out there like aren't using them, like let's bring that to them, and now they have the ability to use them. But I don't know if that's like, it almost seems like it's the wrong market. It's like, look, like people here are using them and they do like the chargers. Just make more of these chargers and like get that infrastructure and just kind of build away from it.
I mean, typically, at least around here, where I guess it's not as densely populated as like in Philadelphia or New York or Chicago, but like around our area where it's relatively developed.
Yeah.
You know, we're not exactly out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It seems like if you have a Tesla, you could easily make that work, no problems, as it is right now. Because, you know, I live in an apartment, so I couldn't charge at home. But if I really wanted to dedicate myself to that, it wouldn't be that big of an issue for me to just go 2 minutes up the road to the Wawa and charge there for 20, 30 minutes and get 80% plus of my battery and then be good for another, like, week.
Yeah, but do you know of anyone that are close enough to you? Like, if you just, you know, decided today to go buy a Tesla?
Yes, there's one
that's close?
Literally a minute and a half away.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Well, and then like how many are there?
It's a pretty big Wawa, so it's probably got like 7 or 8.
All right, that's good.
Like
yeah,
it's
like
one of the ones
like
that has like
minimum.
a section of the parking lot that's dedicated to
the
chargers.
whole back wall, the whole back corner, yeah. So like I haven't seen that much of those where there's like that many, you know. But
every new Wawa going up I've seen has big
and see and like that, but that's what makes sense to me. And so like I guess if that is the initiative and that's already in play, and that article that we saw with seemingly failure to to actually produce these things,
I would say it's government
crazy
inefficiency.
Yeah. So like if this was like an adder to like, they're like, hey, like we already are like dumping these things everywhere. We're just putting them in anywhere we can already, and this is like a side quest for our like the Tesla chargers, then like fine.
Well, here's the other issue. As far as I'm aware, the government's not backing the NAICS or North American Charging Standard, the NACS. Yeah, the NACS charge port, which is the Tesla charge port.
Mm-hmm.
But most big manufacturers have signed on to use that charge port. Now, you could probably get an adapter and plug into any of the I think the standard that the government actually endorses and that every other manufacturer was using is the CSS connector.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can get adapters for that, but those adapters cost like a couple $100.
Yeah.
And the only cars that are going to come with those adapters are the kind of transitional cars. Like Ford is picking up NACS next year. So if you buy a car like a Ford Lightning or a Mustang Mach-E right now, you'll get that adapter once they roll out that compatibility. Because there's also software updates they have to do to make the cars talk with a Tesla supercharger and all kinds of other weird shit. Because, of course, charging your car is not just like taking a fuel hose, fuel nozzle, and just...
But the same thing where like those things right now are uniform, you know, on all cars.
The CSS is for the
cars.
Well,
I mean, like gasoline wise, like gasoline and diesel are the only like two differences, you know, and like for a reason. But but like every diesel has like the same size. Like
although I could very easily put a diesel nozzle in my car.
Yeah,
because it predates those standards.
Yeah, but exactly. But to that point where like it just, you know, it kind of has to happen.
Completely irrelevant to the current problem, but fun fact.
Yeah,
I can break my car.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I feel like, you know, especially with like knowing that like that standard before was like a little bit more loose and that like we have standardized and like that made so much more sense and no one's ever deviated. Like no cars come out today and they're just like, oh, this is a slightly different, you know, filler, and like now you have to use a different pump and only certain pumps can.
You can only go
who
to
would make
Sheetz,
a car like
not
that?
Wawa.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Shell.
Yeah, so who would make a car
and
that way?
That was a big complaint about electric cars as well.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this should be standardized. And yeah, I agree it should be.
Yeah.
But the government, I think, was backing the wrong standard. I think the Tesla charge solution is a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, just us just living in another historical moment where we're going to have cars
I'm getting tired of it, man. I'm tired, boss.
Yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, no, and then just like, because like right now, like we talk about it, we're like, oh, all these chargers, like it'll never work. But like, I guarantee you, within 10 years, it'll be like Tesla superchargers and like one other.
I've always been on the side of like electric cars are going to be the future, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Whether it's the best solution or not. Yeah, I kind of was a fan of hydrogen fuel cells for a while. I thought it bridged the gap nicely, but there's a whole other set of downsides. And because there was no Tesla equivalent pushing hydrogen, Toyota was pushing it. I think BMW was pushing it, but none of them wanted to pony up the money themselves just to start the infrastructure, which is why Tesla succeeded where everyone else failed. They're like, well, if we want this to work, we have to have this. And if we wait, no one's going to just do this out of the goodness of their hearts or because they want to push for the future. We have to, roll up our sleeves and do it ourselves. And they did.
Yeah.
And now this Tesla supercharger network is like the best charging network in the world, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
You look at the Electrify America, which is actually has a large investment from Volkswagen. Volkswagen funded a lot of the Electrify America initiative, program, whatever you want to call it, and built a lot of those stations. And they had to do that as punishment for Dieselgate. They were forced to do that. So, they, had a big hand in developing that system, and they use the CSS. I keep saying CSS. Let me make sure I'm actually saying the right thing. But
how close do you think?
CSS. Or CCS, not CSS. CCS.
CCS. How like recreatable do you think that the Tesla supercharger infrastructure is? Like, I mean, how soon until some other company, some other billionaire just comes along and goes, I like everything I see here. I'll just put my name on it. Or change it outside of a
They might
patent.
have missed the boat.
Yeah.
Because the supercharger network is very well established. It's the biggest network here. So, it's a real uphill battle. You have the
but like,
the first
what if we
advantage.
made an LRP like charging
LRP charge
station,
port.
and it was like almost identical as long as it was like not
violating
inside the patent. Yeah, but if you had a Tesla,
if
you could charge
wanted
at
to,
ours.
Oh, you want to make something that works with Tesla,
Right? Exactly. I mean, you'd be silly not to, but why couldn't we just set up a charging station?
Well, no,
at
and
Royal Farms?
just because they've moved to the NACS connector doesn't mean that all of the other ones are now suddenly outmoded.
Yeah,
they're going to all be interconnectable.
Yeah,
you're just going to need adapters.
Yeah,
to use the other ones, and all the new non-Tesla chargers going forward are going to have multiple cords on them. They're going to have the CCS connector.
Yeah, I've seen it. And like on the little connector, it has like a keychain full of like just different connectors you can put on.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, I think it's the EV Go. Isn't the EV Go? I think that's the one I'm thinking of. So I think like EV Go has like all the connectors already on it.
I don't know, maybe, but the current solution going forward is if you have a CCS car and you're the auto manufacturer that made your cars switching over to
and it might only be
switching
like 3
over
or
to
4.
Tesla's plug, then you're going to get an adapter for the interim, and then all new cars going forward will just natively support NACS. But all the new chargers going forward are going to have a CCS connector as well as a NACS connector just on it. 2 separate cords, but you just pick whichever one you need when you pull up.
Yeah.
So, if you wanted to build your own charging station and make money off of that, in the same way a gas station doesn't, there's nothing stopping you other than money.
See, aren't those different plugs on that station? Down here?
EV Go. Yeah, CCS. 350 kilowatt fast charging CCS. I think that would be level 2, level 3, and then CHAdeMO is a different plug, different standard that's fallen by the wayside. I think the Nissan Leaf uses CHAdeMO.
Yeah, but regardless, I mean, I was almost positive that like at least most of them had like.
I think they just have
maybe it is just 3.
Yeah, well, no, it'd be 2, and each stall, one might be a 350 kilowatt hour charger, and the other stall might only go up to 100.
Yeah,
and you have to know which one is which.
Well, click on that Malvern one because that's the one I was literally thinking about.
Yeah, it's just got different connectors on. I want to say hoses because fuel, but it's not a hose. Yeah. Actually, it kind of is. There's coolant lines. No, there's coolant lines in it to cool the cord.
The actual cord,
Yeah, because that's a lot of power going through that.
Boy.
So technically
not
what the
wrong. Maintenance looks like on that.
I don't know, but look, 2.8 stars. Because
let's read the reviews.
All of these constantly break or they charge slow.
Well, let's find out.
5 stars and 1 stars. Unable to charge. First charger did not work. The next one did. Only getting 14 kilowatts. That is slow.
Yeah. Like they're averaging
Advertising
they're
100
advertising.
and 350.
Yeah.
It's my first try to charge my car. Spent more than 30 minutes trying to connect. Customer service did not help.
Oh no.
Yeah, this is a common problem, and this is why everyone hates.
This is only the 2 stars. Click
Yeah.
on the 1 stars. Let's just go to the nasty.
EVgo is the worst, consistently unavailable. All other companies are better. But this is the issue that everyone has with everything that's not a supercharger. Tesla superchargers, they do, go down occasionally, just like a fuel pump goes down, but they go down a lot less than, EVgo, Electrify America, and all the other ones.
Yeah.
And and the other thing is every single one of these charging stations usually require an app, and they all require a different app. So you have like 5 different apps on your phone for all the different companies that are making these EV charging stations, and they all have your information. God forbid one of them has a data breach, your card's connected to it, or your bank.
Yeah.
It's just another thing to go wrong.
Yeah.
Hour wait, they be broken. Do not work. Yeah.
Well, Sean Duffy said it was great. So,
well, Sean Duffy sounds like a trustworthy name. I'm going to take his word for it.
Sounds great.
Lowest. Hour wait, be broken, do not work. So, yeah. Fast charger did not work. Next one did. Only getting we read that one.
Yep. So, very interesting. Well, hey, speaking of electric vehicles, I saw my second Cybertruck.
Oh, you saw one?
Yeah, just rolling down the road.
Yeah, they look big in person.
They look small in person, actually.
Oh, they look big to me.
Dude, they were...
Granted, I saw it from the roof of a building, so I could see how long it was compared to the cars in front of behind
so
traffic.
Maybe like relatively, like maybe a little bit longer. I mean, like there's no way it was longer than my van. There's no shot.
Well, no, it's about the size of like an F-150.
That's exactly what So I was thinking that it would be like as bulky and big as like a TRX or like a Raptor. I thought it was going to have that stance.
Those tires. The tires.
No. But I mean, it's not just the tires. Come on, dude. Like, I mean, when I'm looking at it, like I was looking at it in traffic. We're just rolling through Wilmington, and like,
so you were on level with it.
Yeah.
That might be.
We're sitting right next to it. I mean, no, I'm not even on level. I'm like literally looking at it, sitting next to cars in traffic, like stopped.
Well, I mean, you're on ground level looking at it, is what I'm saying. You're on the same level as it.
And trust me, like, and when I look at a TRX, it's like it's giant. Yeah. It's like it's not, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's like, it's not as big. It's like, nah, I think it's fine. I just like it should be I mean,
how tall was it?
Like, so behind it was a lowered, funny enough, SRT Hellcat. Like
the Jeep
Hellcat, yeah. And
so the Trackhawk,
and I would say like it was the same height.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And like obviously it was completely stock.
The 2 times that I've seen one, one was in a garage. I was driving down the road and looked over and was like, oh, cool. Yeah. And the other time I was on the roof of a building, working on something, and I looked over at traffic and saw it sitting there. And from up there, I don't know if you've ever looked at a vehicle from like up. I don't know. We were up on your roof and we were looking down at my Buick. The Buick is a big car.
Yeah.
But from up there, you see exactly how much bigger than regular cars it is.
Yeah.
Because it's the length. It's not the height. It's the length and the width.
Yeah.
That was the view I had of the Cybertruck, and it was massive from that view.
Yeah.
It's like, the car behind it was like 1.5 feet shorter. The car in front of it was like 2 feet shorter. I'm like, that's a big truck.
Yeah.
But, if I looked at a regular truck from that view, it would also look massive.
Yeah. Well, the other time I saw one, I was in my van and it passed me, and like if anything, I felt like I was sitting up higher in my van than them. And like obviously I'm in a van, the seat sits really high in the van itself is just kind of this
and
like
you've got really low windows in your van, so it makes you feel really up there.
Yeah. It's good for the little guys. We feel huge in these things. But so when it drove by though, like I remember like not being like this. I remember just kind of like looking down and being like, whoa,
Well, how do you feel about them though? Because a lot of people hate them.
I think it's cool. I think I definitely wouldn't buy one. It's not my style. It's not my thing. Like it's nothing about it is I'm like everything about it isn't right.
All right, now what if it had a Cummins?
Still nothing.
Okay.
I mean that would defeat the point. But yeah, I know what you're saying. It's like, okay, is it just because it's electric? No, I don't think that like
it's not your style.
Yeah, that trapezoid style, I mean, my favorite joke about the Cybertruck is that like when people are like, "Dang!" Like they see one, it'll be like a picture of it, and like, "Man, these refrigerators are getting out of hand," because it does. I mean, like that stainless steel like look to it. It looks like a fucking
personally,
fridge.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it for what it's. I think
Yeah.
it's exactly what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they
Like,
nailed it.
When Tesla first announced it, because like I've always been, I don't want to say like a Tesla fan, but I've always rooted for them because there's something different. There's
Right.
something exciting. And whether you like Elon or not, and whether you think Tesla makes shit cars or not, they have single-handedly pushed the like EV field like a decade forward by themselves. Because without them, no one would be trying to keep up with them. They are the gold standard by which all of their electric cars are judged.
Yeah,
And some of them are beginning to exceed it. That's fair. That's fine. You know.
Yeah, it's kind of supposed to happen.
Yeah, you would hope.
Yeah, it's like that's like saying like, oh, Henry Ford like made a shitty car, and it's like because look at all the other like Rolls Royce and
Yeah, look at all the other cars 10 years later. It's
and
it's 10 years later.
But like that's the entry level to get in was like that. You know,
that was the gold
paid
standard.
The innovation, like they spent time and money on innovation.
Yeah.
And then people, I mean, not to like diminish what they've done, but like you're saying, they've kind of ridden on the coattails of like the innovation that Tesla's done.
Yeah.
You know,
So, I've always kind of rooted for Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
And, when they first announced they were making a truck, I'm like, oh, that's the most popular like body style of vehicle in North America. That'll be good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them. And then they dropped the Cybertruck. I'm like, what the were they thinking?
Yeah.
Like my first visceral reaction to it was like, that's awful.
Yeah.
And then the more I looked at it, I'm like, you know what? There's nothing else like this.
Yeah.
I kind of dig it.
I think that I guarantee you, like with some time, like once they like iron out the Cybertruck and they keep moving them out, they'll see how like effective that is and whether or not they change that one or if they make another like just like a small pickup truck.
Yeah.
I think that's coming.
Ford Maverick or Ford Ranger style truck.
Yes, and it'll be more on the par of like the S model or like
the S versus the 3.
Yeah.
And you have the Model X and the Model Y, and then you got the Cybertruck and the Cybertruck Junior.
Yeah, exactly.
Which might not be a Cybertruck.
Yeah.
Because God knows they've had so many headaches just building the damn thing.
Yeah.
But
that's what I'm saying. Like they'll do something so much similar, or I mean, so much simpler than that.
Either that, or they'll iron it out, and they'll be able to do that.
Well, I just mean in the sense that like some people want an electric truck, you know, and it's nice to have a small electric truck. Like Ford's doing that with the Maverick, and not
they don't
everybody
have an electric one, but yeah.
I guess it's a hybrid, but it's a plug-in hybrid, whatever.
Yeah, what's
but,
funny about that? And we'll get back to this tangent, but just real quick. Ford introduced the Maverick with that hybrid front-wheel drive drivetrain as like the base model, and the regular gas engine one was like the upper end model.
Yeah.
But there was so much demand for the hybrid that they couldn't keep up that they kind of switched it around.
The price
there's
is
a premium
up
for the hybrid model versus the gas model.
Yeah. Which I don't know if that's like on them or that's just more of how economics goes.
I mean, what a problem to have, though.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, I just think that there is a market for like a sensible pickup truck.
Yeah,
that's all electric, and especially from Tesla. Like if Tesla did one that was just like a Maverick competitor, I think that's a good idea. And it would definitely
if they do want to go up one class size and go up against like the Tacoma, because that's
Sure.
a huge market as well.
Yeah, and as it kind of, I guess like. The Tacoma's far more utilitarian. It's like
well, I mean, you've got the
versatile.
Tacoma, you've got the Colorado, you've got the Ranger, you've got the Frontier, and I mean, Nissan,
I see. Yeah,
I'm just talking about that
saying.
class of truck.
Yeah, I just thought that like the Maverick fit the like car that Tesla can make with a bed.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of what I'm thinking they could do. And I think that if they did it, it definitely shouldn't look like a Cybertruck. Because I think that there's a market for people who want like this like fun, crazy new thing. And especially when like the prices come down. And once there's a bunch of them out, like people can afford them. It won't be like just like a celebrity car or like a rich person's truck, But I think that there's like a lot of people like me who like think it's cool, but I'm like, I'm not buying one. I'm good.
I don't know if I would buy one. Again, I love seeing them on the road the few times that I have because, I love the 80s like cyberpunk aesthetic. When Hyundai dropped the Envision 74,
I know.
all over that. The DeLorean is iconic.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that. In fact, I saw someone who owns a DeLorean and a Cybertruck.
Damn.
Because it's like, well, yeah, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
But I see the Cybertruck as kind of just like an extension of that kind of aesthetic, which I love. And I know some people who love that aesthetic, hate Elon Musk, hate the Cybertruck. I'm like, this is right up your alley, though.
Yeah.
Like, you say this is a hideous piece of shit, but if this was made by any other manufacturer, I know you'd be all over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, no, some people just hate Elon just to hate him. You know.
Yeah, you got to learn to separate. Like, he is not just the company. Yeah, in my personal opinion, he had a irreplaceable role in forming these, but he is not he's not the entirety of that company.
Yeah. Yeah.
The company wouldn't exist without him.
Right.
You know, he was the one who had the money and the ambition and was in the right time and right place to get the people
vision
together to make it and pull them all in that same direction. But that doesn't mean and every time Tesla succeeds, all the people who absolutely hate Elon's guts are like, oh, well, that's just the engineers at Tesla, or that's the engineers at SpaceX. And then every time something goes wrong, look what Elon did. It's like,
It's like,
is he or isn't he responsible for all this?
Yeah.
You can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
So my personal opinion is he picks a direction, and then the engineers do their best to make it happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes the direction he picks is the right one.
Right.
You look at Tesla as a whole, and you look at what SpaceX has done, and you're like, there are people who will argue it's not a success, but you can't argue it's not a success.
Yeah.
And then, you look at some of the other things he's done, and it's like, okay, well, obviously that was not the right move.
Yeah. I mean, what's the old saying? If you're gonna make an omelet, you're gonna break a few eggs.
Yeah.
This dude's breaking traditions and barriers and
sometimes
typical thinking.
Those things are established for a reason.
Yeah.
In fact, the guy who founded Lucid, the
Yeah.
other electric car company.
Yes.
And maybe this hasn't been the best, or this isn't the best example because they are hemorrhaging money. But he worked at Tesla. He was like a high up engineer at Tesla, and he. I'm paraphrasing this because I don't remember it exactly, but some YouTube channel or whatever did an interview with him, and he was like, one of the reasons I left Tesla was because we were, throwing everything out. We were throwing the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to manufacturing. We're purposefully ignoring all these established practices that these other automakers use, because Elon's convinced they're wrong.
Right.
But we're throwing away good ideas that are there for a reason.
Yeah.
And then, he goes and he makes his own company. And if you look at the Lucid Air, it's a very competently made vehicle.
Yeah.
And they have some serious innovation going on there where it makes sense. And they're also falling back to tried and true methods where it also makes sense.
Yeah.
Again, now, in retrospect, might not be the best example because, again, they are hemorrhaging money.
Not going so well.
But
it just shows that there's way more to this than just making a car.
Yeah.
It's there's with businesses and stuff like that, there's so many little things where you can have a great product but fail.
Yeah.
It's there's such a balance, and so that's what to your point is so great about Tesla, where it's no, it's not perfect, but damn, it works, it sells, people like it, it's something that is reproducible.
They made the electric car, one, desirable, and two, more importantly, functional. Before that, you had the Nissan Leaf, which got 62 miles of range in its first iteration. The Mitsubishi iMEV, which got 30.
Yeah, I do, but I do think that there's a brand to Tesla though too, because when you talk about the function of it working and then not working, so there's a couple things that I hate is not having a signal stalk.
Yeah.
And they just won't let that go. It's got to.
They're dying on that hill, and it's stupid.
I mean, the horn was a button for a while, and I think they brought it back in the new models of the center.
The model, the Cybertruck has a regular horn.
Okay, good, yeah. But even then, I think now they've also moved to. If you can pull up the Cybertruck.
Is it specifically a Cybertruck, or is it all of them?
It's definitely the Cybertruck for sure, but I thought it was all of them now. That now there's no display in front of you; it's just in the center, right?
Why did that? Oh, it didn't take
truck interior.
Yeah, truck interior. That is not a Cybertruck.
Yeah.
They started that with the Model S
truck.
And the not the Model S. The Model S has a cluster. I think the Model X has a cluster as well, but the Model Y and the Model 3 don't have a cluster in front of you.
Yeah, which that seems dumb. I mean, thank God it's gigantic,
Yeah. Well, here's my thing. First off, I would prefer a cluster.
Yeah.
I like that. But it wouldn't be that big of a deal if Tesla, and I don't know why they haven't integrated this, but if they put a heads-up display right there that showed your speed and other basic information that a lot of other cars have, a nice heads-up display right there, would be fine. That would get rid of like 90% of the criticism for not having that cluster.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think that like there's just so many like little things about like just new cars in general that have like messed us all up. Like number one is like the LED gauge clusters, which like have led to literally everyone being on the road without their headlights on
At night, yeah.
Yeah. So
And
like,
I think we've talked about that on the podcast before, so we don't really need to rehash it, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So like, I mean, and like they put like it. I think some of them have like lights on the dash that say like, "Hey, your lights are on."
Not enough, apparently.
But like it's not enough. So I mean, like now, like Tesla's gone a step further and just removed that possibility. So there's just like little things, and like not to bash anybody who's like Tesla driver, but like majority of them maybe need some help to make sure that their headlights are on. That's all. You know.
And
so I mean, unless they have this like automated thing where the lights are always on, or
well, I mean,
whatever,
I'm sure they have auto headlights.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the cars do, but
which is usually programmably on or off.
Yeah, but if someone turns it off for whatever reason,
exactly.
Now they're just driving down the road with their lights off. They've got daytime running lights, so they have a little bit of light up ahead. So they're like, "Oh, I'm fine," and the dash is lit up. Because I remember one time when I was like first starting out driving, I forgot to turn my headlights on as I was pulling out of a shopping center parking lot.
Yeah.
And as soon as I left the well-lit parking lot, I'm like, why can't I see my gauge cluster? Oh, my lights aren't on.
Yeah, exactly. It was such like an instinctive thing where you're like, oh, God. Oh,
like,
shit.
I can't see anything.
Yeah.
What's wrong? Something's wrong here.
Yeah. It's just so like such an easy thing. The same thing with like the stalk. I don't know why they got rid of the stalk. Like maybe it's
minimalism.
The aesthetics of it.
Yeah, because look how clean that is. There's no sticky outy bits. There's no shifter. You got to slide the little bar on the screen.
Yeah, no, and that's fine too. And then, so how do you get out of park? Is it the screen? Like how do you start driving?
So you get in your car. It wakes up when you sit in the car because it's got proximity key bullshit.
Goddamn.
And then you press the brake and on the screen a little slider pops up and you slide it forward and then you go forward. And if you want to go backwards, you slide it backwards and you go backwards. And if you want to park, I'm not quite sure. I think you just slide it to the middle and then get out of the car and hope it doesn't roll away.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's just...
Actually, I think as soon as the key leaves is when it locks itself kind of into park. Because these cars, they don't creep like a gas car does. You let off the brake, it doesn't roll. So you might just come to a stop and get out.
Yeah,
which
so like
seems,
just letting off the gas.
As someone who's driven, regular automatic cars and manual cars, that's like...
It defies everything that we've ever...
instinct, every fiber of my being is like, I have to find some way to like lock this car into place.
Bitch up. Yeah. Yeah, so like if you were on a hill, I guess, then you just let off the gas and eventually it would stop and it would not move. It would not just roll down a hill.
I don't actually know. I've never like...
Yeah, and actually, like how the hell would you...
And the only time I've ever driven a Tesla was like a first generation Model S that still had the Mercedes... the literal Mercedes manufactured shifter stalk. So you would put it in park by pressing the button.
Yeah. Interesting. So yeah, another thing that I would not really be very comfortable with, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But also like the I feel like I don't see an ugliness or like a lack of...
How about the concept that had this faux marble dash?
Yeah, it's fun. But again, like you see what they added? Go back.
Oh, what to the that?
Look at the stalk.
Well, this was the concept from like 2019 because it was.
And are we hating the stalk sitting there?
I'm kind of hating how boxy the steering column is.
Yeah, they didn't have to do that, but yeah, I don't know. What is that actually has the dash?
Oh, that was a prototype. So it was probably.
And then they just didn't like it. I like that. I mean, I don't know. Again, it's just like me knowing that dashes are supposed to have.
Well, I mean, if you had a Toyota Echo or a Saturn Ion, you'd be used to this.
Yeah. But you shouldn't have had those cars.
Don't tell that to Fluff. He loved his Ion.
Yeah.
Toyota Cybertruck? What? No.
Toyota Echo is awful.
Yeah, just.
I mean, I'll give it to them. The symmetry is well. You know, you and I can
off center and off kilter, and it's different if you have right-hand
but it's
drive. Oh my God, it is lumpy in there.
Oh yeah, it's very lumpy. God, that shifter, something's wrong with the shifter.
That was just Toyota's manual shifters at the time. Even the Corolla had a shifter like that.
I remember the old the shifter boots that had like the crinkles in them. Yeah, I love
good
that.
Times.
Like when you said Corolla, that's what it reminds me of.
Actually, Fluff had that steering wheel. He didn't have the hockey puck, thank God. But
yeah,
and I remember both he had actually mentioned this to me, but I also noticed it the few times I drove his car was at night. It's real dark in front of you without anything there.
Yeah.
And he would drive with his cruise control on, but not active, because that button right there, just to have a little light on that side of the car. Just 'cause it was so
God.
dark.
Jeez.
He was just like, it seems so weird that like I have all this light right here and none like right in front of me, so I turn that on just so I have a little light that balance it out.
That's awful, dude. There's no way he misses that car. He misses
he
the
loved
nostalgia.
that
Like,
car.
no, I miss the nostalgia of like my first car as well. But boy, if somebody was like, "Hey, we brought it back. It's right here for you," I'd be like, "Well, okay, you can take it back. I'm good, dude. I'm so good." Yeah, like Jesus, it's all bad, but. Yeah, so but I mean, and I think that most people are getting used to the turn signal on the steering wheel. Yeah, but
You know what's
it's
funny
just
about
like when
that, though?
It's just like when you're parking and you're already like kind of mixed up with this like
Well, that's what I'm getting at. So people have an issue.
rectangle steering.
Well, not that, but
Yeah.
people have an issue with the steering wheel mounted turn signals that Tesla's doing, because
Yeah.
they're like, oh, well, if I'm like turning hand over hand and now it's over here, it didn't stay where I put it. And yet no one bitches and complains except for me about wheel-mounted paddles when you have like a DSG.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. Well,
it's the same problem.
probably because I think a lot of those like the complaints come from like when you're in a parking lot. You're just kind of like whipping back and forth, and like I feel like with the DSG, like you're good for a while. Like,
so
you're not, like,
if I'm going
shifting-
through a long, a hairpin that like widens out, the wheel's not going to be straight, and I'm still looking for
that paddle. Yeah. Yes.
column-mounted paddles. That's how it should be.
That's how it is. How it should be, actually. Yeah.
I want the paddle right where I left it.
How many cars do come with like steering wheel mounted paddles?
Most of them.
Really?
Most of them.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense at all. Like just
It
that's
makes
like,
sense on
imagine
F1 cars.
Imagine if your turn signal stalk just rotated with the wheel.
Yeah.
Did that make sense? No.
That's what's going on
Yeah,
with the Teslas,
what
and
the
now
fuck?
everyone's complaining about it.
To be honest, I've never even driven a car that has like the paddles. I haven't been so blessed, but I just always thought that they were just mounted to the column. That
They
makes the
should
most
be.
sense.
They should
because
be.
you could be turning and just ba ba ba, and then just back up.
Like, it makes sense on an F1 car where they are steering wheel mounted, because
because
you turn.
this is making a
lock's a
U-turn.
lock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Some dumbass probably like saw one where it's like, I'm gonna make it like an F1 car,
I guess.
maybe, or
But,
just a huge oversight. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah,
No,
that
it's a
doesn't make
conscious
sense.
decision, and it was made maliciously.
Yeah.
Um,
How about the that Porsche? We're talking about electric stuff, but the Taycan. Yeah, because apparently the new one that came out is the tits.
yeah, Porsche.
Like
The
charging
only
really
issue,
fast
the only
and-
issue I have with the Porsche Taycan is that the performance model is called the Turbo, and this is an electric car.
Yeah,
That is my only issue.
and there's no way this is a language barrier, right?
No, not
not the people who have been doing turbocharged engines
now,
for
the,
years.
The Taycan Cross Turismo, that is a sexy car.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Like, if you're gonna have a 4-door and you want to have a sloping roof back, just don't.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
don't.
just make it a wagon.
Just make it a wagon. It looks
then-
so
and now
much
we're
better.
all
Like, do you
happy.
remember the Panamera?
Yes, hated it.
Did you ever see the Panamera wagon?
No, but I would imagine just like the CTSV, I love the wagon. CTSV wagons go hard.
Boy, doesn't that look way better than the slump back dog taking a shit outline of the old Panamera?
Yeah. No, it definitely does. Yeah, and they should have just made it that way. You're right. I guess these wagons were like far less popular. Yeah. See, just not good.
Like, I get that they were trying to keep that Porsche silhouette, but it doesn't. You didn't.
You didn't do it.
You failed. And then they came out with this a couple years later, and then they killed it.
They could have just made it a little bit smaller, in the back, and just dropped that back down a little bit tighter. like how like an actual Porsche does.
I still don't think it would have looked right.
Nah, probably not.
But yeah, the
But man, the
Panamera
wagon goes hard.
wagon.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wagon goes hard.
Yep.
Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, I want to see some. I just kind of want to see some like videos of it.
The Taycan.
Yeah. But the Taycan, apparently like the new one, which like, dude, what's the price difference between? Because I see like a lot of people are making the comparison between the two, and it just doesn't seem fair.
Taycan is $99,400, and the Cross Turismo is $111,000.
And so now that's base. Is it?
Yeah,
I'm guessing
this is going to be your base model.
All right, so then
400
base,
horsepower, 143 miles per hour. So
what's a
versus
base
like
Plaid?
Tesla. Well, base Plaid.
Well, yeah, because that has that. I mean that.
That's more in line with a base Model S. 402 horsepower. Yeah, the Plaid's got over 1,000.
Well, let's build the fastest ones on each. This will be fun. And while we build these, we're gonna take a pee break because this will be fun to talk about in a minute. So back from the pee break, and we have our prices. So, Adrian, what's it gonna cost us?
So if you want to get yourself a Model S Plaid, and there might be some sport package thing that I'm missing because I know that they were working on one. It's going to run you about $81,490.
Now that's
tax
a cash. That's in cash. See if you can
well, no,
click.
if you hit finance, it just gives you a monthly price.
Gives you a breakdown.
Yeah.
So
So
boy, that puts it into perspective though. To finance an $81,000 car, it was about $1,300 a month.
that's with $4,500 down and a 6.39% APR for 72 months. It's 5 years. No,
Yeah.
6 years.
Which that's not bad. That's pretty average, isn't it, for a car?
It is now.
Yeah, I know, right?
But if you want to get yourself a Porsche Taycan Turbo GT, that's going to run you $232,000.
Yeah. So $250,000 tax and tax.
Yeah. But what you're going to get is a car that probably has better panel fitment, better quality interior,
Yeah.
might rattle less, and we'll be able to go around the track multiple times without going into low power mode for overheating the drivetrain.
Does the Plaid do that a lot?
It definitely did when they were, first coming out. I think some people were tracking them. And
Yeah, so
the biggest issue with the Plaid was the brakes were not up to the task.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But supposedly there was a sport package or something coming out that one had the tires that would allow you to go the car's actual top speed because it's a heavy car.
Yeah.
And I think it was going to come with better brakes too, which are definitely a necessity.
I wonder if you should get rid of that. Let's just do like Taycan versus Plaid and just like see, because I wonder if like someone's kind of done some research in that way, just because like I wonder if there is like a version of the Taycan where you're kind of getting the best of both worlds and it becomes more of like a comparison, because like we almost are comparing apples to oranges.
Well, it's kind of hard because the cheapest Plaid, the cheapest Taycan is more expensive than the most expensive Plaid.
Yeah.
Like the most expensive Model S.
Yeah.
They kind of occupy the same,
right,
like high performance electric sedan market, but they're in two completely different price brackets. It's like,
just what you were saying a minute ago is just the comparison in quality and like the application, like the design application for the Taycan is not what Tesla designed the Plaid for.
No, and Porsche, I trust them to engineer something to stand up to the abuse, probably to a much more rigorous standard than Tesla. Tesla still is the new kid on the block, and they still have a good couple things to learn.
Yeah, and the Porsche has their own supercharger too, right? Don't they?
No, they run, the ones sold in the U.S. run off of CCS.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, that's cool.
There are fast chargers, find one that actually works.
Yeah, but I think the look up the turbo, just the Taycan, I guess, charging speed, because that's the other thing that I've heard. Charge time, yeah.
The onboard charger, would they look? That's something else. What's their
9 hours?
No, that's a slow charge.
Yeah.
Oh my god, freaking cookies. 5 to 80% is in 22.5 minutes.
Yeah. So just over 20 minutes to get from almost 0 to almost 100%.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, that's like real.
Yeah, it can take up to 270 kilowatt hours.
Yeah, like this is the innovation that like we were kind of looking for.
I think the
you know, as far as like making these things like,
well, no, we talked about
not
this
being a nuisance.
exact scenario before when we're talking about like electric cars in depth. Like even that is not good enough though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, somebody sitting at a charging station for 20 minutes.
I mean, you look at like peak times. Like I've noticed peak times at gas stations are like in the morning during morning rush hour and in the afternoon during afternoon rush hour when everyone's going to work or coming home. They're filling up their cars, and you know, there's lines at gas stations where it takes 2 minutes to fill up the car. Now, multiply that by 10.
Yeah, so things need to charge within a minute.
Yeah, like,
and then
it needs to be as fast as a gas station.
Yeah, and so, and that kind of goes like full circle to what we were saying about like the infrastructure and like them spending money. It's like, hey, like just make them work really, really well where they already are. You know, where you can do it easily, make them like, they should be like, if there's like 12 pumps or 15 pumps, there should be equal that to these charging stations. Because if they're not that fast, like we
now
need
here's
to have
the funny
a lot.
thing, you were just talking about the charging. Hyundai actually outdoes them.
The Ioniq 5.
Yep. 10 to 80% in just 18 minutes using a 350 kilowatt fast charger.
Hell yeah. Which is what that EV Go was advertising, so that's kind of sick.
Yeah.
What do they use for the ports? The Ioniq?
CCS.
Nice.
I think they also signed on for the Tesla port as well, though.
Yeah. Dude, and then, so we, speaking of that, the Ioniq 5, did we just watch that video of that famous guy that always drives stuff around the Nürburgring? And they were driving the Ioniq 5s, weren't they?
I mean, we talked about it.
Did we talk about it in the last podcast?
I don't know if we talked about it on the last You and Me podcast.
Yeah. Oh, we did? Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Ioniq 5N.
Yeah.
Again,
but
odd
fast as
choice. Odd choice for a car to build a performance platform on, but glad they did it.
Yeah, fast as shit, bro. That was crazy.
And glad they didn't compromise at all on emulating gas engines, flaws and all.
Well, I think, I don't know if we talked about this when we did talk about it, but like I wanted to watch like the full video. I never did, but I was wondering like, okay, like it started out, I'm sure, with a full charge. I mean, it takes a couple of minutes to get around the Nürburgring with something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I wonder how it ended up at the end. Just getting the shit beat out of it.
Yeah, they mentioned it. Like, they mentioned how much it took to do one lap.
Yeah.
But it wasn't anything like crazy bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine, because, well, you talked about this when we were at East Coast Bash, that like you chew through gas when you beat on your car. So honestly, I don't think it's much worse than a gas car, like sucking down fuel when you're flooring it.
Right.
But they had enough charge.
Level.
They had enough charge to do 2 laps of the ring, which is 12 miles.
Yeah.
Flat out without any degradation in performance.
Yeah, and does that sound like a normal, like, I mean, a car with,
well, as far as
how much
EVs
horsepower?
go.
Yeah, like how much, like horsepower to horsepower, like another car that has like 500 or 600 horsepower, like I'm guessing this does? Like what's the horsepower?
600. Over 600.
So like what other, can a C6 or a ZR1 Vet go around the Nürburgring?
Well, the biggest issue
without filling up?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably. The biggest issue with electric cars isn't so much that they run out of battery necessarily. I do think they drain down faster than a gasoline car would. Again, we're working on that. But
these aren't bad looking.
The biggest issue is they overheat their driveline and you have to go into like some sort of protection mode where they cut power. That's been the biggest flaw, and admittedly a lot of it's been Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Porsche Taycan usually doesn't have that issue, but again, it's made by Porsche to be a driver's car, a driver's electric car.
Right.
I don't know. I haven't seen too much of like people pushing other ones. I'm sure there are videos, and you'll find cases where the car like overheated and went into protection mode. But I mean, what was it? Was it the Corvette that was having issues with overheating the rear diff when racing? The like C6, I think, the Z06. Yeah, you find odd issues like that with every car.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be unfair and just like pile on electric cars.
Right.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah. But so these things are cool, and I kind of like the way they look, honestly.
I mean, I liked the Ioniq 5, just the base model.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. Again,
and for 66,000 for this like little
600 horsepower car.
Yeah, I mean, like, and I don't know what I haven't seen one. I don't think. I think maybe I have seen one on the road, but I can't.
Well, I haven't
like
seen
this
an
is
N on
bigger
the
than a
road.
hatchback.
Yeah,
This
I
is
haven't
like
seen
a
an N
small
on the road. I've
SUV.
seen a regular Ioniq. Yeah, it's a crossover.
Yeah. Because like I feel like we need a hot hatchback again. Like, or who's making?
Yeah, something that you have experience with. You know your mom's Kia Soul.
Yeah.
Take that, make it like 2 inches wider and like a foot longer.
Yeah.
That's an Ioniq.
Yeah. So we're getting to like RAV4.
RAV4, but lower slung, but still crossover.
Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like a hot hatchbacks are like where electric stuff, like fast electric stuff, could really thrive.
That's
hot
tough.
hatchbacks done.
No, it's tough for an electric car because you need room for the batteries.
Yeah,
and most of them put it in the floor. So bigger
so
floor,
you think,
bigger battery.
Yeah,
more
so you
range.
think this is as small? If they could have made it smaller, they probably would have.
I mean, no, they built this to this size because this is a very popular class of car.
Okay. And it just so happened that they were like,
one,
hey, you know what?
In America,
let's make
at
it
least, small cars don't sell well. You know, Honda stopped selling the Fit. The Golf is still going, but like, how many small cars can you think of?
I know. That's what I was going to say. I was like, is there like, what's the newest hot hatchback? You know,
the Golf,
because it used to be
Civic Type R, which is ballooned in size compared to the old.
I
Civics.
know. I just saw one.
Yeah,
I just saw one on Thursday, which I do like the way they look, but they are like very. I like the way they look because they have this like wide stance to them, but it's like it's not the Civic, you know?
No, it's not. It's no EK9.
Yeah.
No, and honestly, I think Civic is about as small of a car as you can get away with here in the U.S. and still like be able to sell it.
And it's back to that thing we've also talked about a bunch on the podcast is the gas thing where they had to be like so
the cafe standards
yeah
and different class
so the smaller it is like the better economy it needs to have
the tighter the restrictions and
so you keep making them bigger and then they can just be whatever it's easier to get that gas mileage tolerance right yeah
and if you got hybrids and electric cars to offset because it's corporate average fuel economy it's across your fleet so
interesting
if you
that sucks man that's why it kind of makes me want to buy like an old hatchback now. You know, get them before they're gone.
yeah. Or just wait 25 years to be able to import them because they're still for sale everywhere else.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, Europe, they don't have big roads. They get taxed on like car size and shit.
So
and engine size.
Are there things in Europe that are being made that we don't get that are kind of sick?
Yeah, perfect example. We got the Corolla GR.
Yeah.
And in Europe, they got the Yaris GR.
Oh, let me see it. Because that sounds dope, dude. I would buy a GR.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
I keep hearing rumors that they're going to put the GR 3-cylinder turbo engine in the GT86, which would be
hell yeah
sick.
That would be so sick.
Man, I wish this would load. Okay, I guess we're not allowed to see it because we're in America. Whatever. Yeah, little two-door hot hatch.
Yeah, dude.
Making 300 horsepower.
Yeah, that's sick. Videos?
I want to just like see it on the track.
Yeah, dude, because those were always like even like a 4-door hatch is still sick, but like now like a 4-door hatchback.
Holy shit!
Oh my god! But yeah, like a 4-door hatchback now would just so massive. Mm-hmm. Even overseas, like they just can't make them small enough.
Well, they can
like
in
this.
Europe.
This is small, but it's still too big, almost.
Well, it's no original Mini Cooper.
Yeah. Well, not even. It's the Civic, you know, that we keep bringing back.
This is probably about the size of an EP3 Civic,
which we all thought was bloated.
Well, you and me did.
I know. Yeah. These kids don't get it.
You know, when in Europe, because they got the EP3 Type R, and then they got the generation after that, they're like, yeah, you know, this is bloated. And the EP3 Civic's like sprightly and agile and small.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah.
But EG?
Yeah. Yeah, I think just that era of cars is just done.
Yeah, it's, you know, safety standards, making cars beefy enough to get hit by a 8,000-pound SUV.
Yeah.
Or, a 9,000-pound Hummer
Yeah.
electric SUV.
Yeah, and the driver to be able to live and
Yeah.
go crash another car.
Automotive Darwinism needs to come back.
I mean, there's a fine line of standard. There's a message there that actually I think resonates.
Look how much bigger that Mercedes hatchback is, the A35.
Yeah, but again, at 4-door.
Yeah. Like back in the 90s, that was a family station wagon.
Yeah. I mean, station wagon is tough, but
the Fiesta hot hatch still exists overseas as well. Do
Oh,
they even
sick.
sell the Fiesta here anymore? I think they stopped.
I don't know.
Do they even sell the Focus anymore?
Let's look it up. Let's go pull up Ford. Honestly, I'm not sure. I haven't seen a new one. They've all kind of been sort of the same.
I
for a
lost
long
interest
time.
after the RS and the ST.
Yeah. Yeah, the RS was sick. I feel like I've been seeing a lot of the Broncos. Ooh, Bronco Raptor.
Not street legal. You can buy a Ford GT Mark IV.
Holy shit.
That's a Ford GT race car.
And you can just buy that?
Well, it's under performance vehicles, but I don't see a option for asking for more information. Guess not.
Yeah, they're just flexing.
Yeah.
Damn. That is sick, though.
SUVs and cars. No, there is no more Focus, and there is no more. That's right. They got rid of all of their cars except for the Mustang. That's right. So there's no Fusion, no Taurus,
No way.
nothing.
Damn.
The only car Ford makes in the U.S. or sells in the U.S. is the Mustang.
And I'm really letting this sink in because I'm looking at their lineup of SUVs and cars, and they've gotten rid of so many things that you would think
They
it'd be
still make the Edge.
exactly. They're still making an Edge, and then they're still making an
thank God.
Explorer.
They stopped
They're
making
still
the,
making an Escape. They're still making the Bronco. They're
They
still
stopped making the EcoSport.
They're
I
making
hate
the
that car.
Bronco Sport. They're making the Expedition.
Well, here's the thing.
There's just so much SUV here.
Yeah. This vehicle right here is still very popular. I understand why that's around.
Yeah.
This occupies the space between this and the Escape and the Explorer. The Ford Edge fits in between those two in terms of size.
But barely.
But see, this is the new Ford Taurus, Ford Fusion, Ford Focus.
Right.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
These two
No one
are
wants the
literally
car
the same
anymore.
car, just in off-road skin.
Yeah.
That's in its own class.
Which I think the Bronco Sports are just the ugliest thing. I'm sorry if you've bought a not Bronco for literally an extra.
You know what's real funny?
Literally an extra $5,000. Which,
Yeah.
look, split that up between 72 months. It ain't that bad. Fucking.
That's terrible financial advice, but I would fall for it.
Yeah.
But
it's such a just bad. It's just bad.
No, what's funny is this dropped a year before the Bronco.
Yeah.
But, the Bronco being in development was all over the news.
Yeah.
People knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people bought this thinking it was the Bronco?
Thinking that it was that. Pre-order and stuff.
Yeah, they buy it, and then
They're
a real
"Ooh, the
Bronco
Sport."
pulls up next to them and why is it so much bigger?
Yeah. It's got to be a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how many got traded back in.
See, the two-door Bronco.
Fucking used car lots are full of them ugly pieces.
I
of
kind of
shit.
dig the base model.
Yeah, it has that Land Rover feel. You know,
It's just got that basic utilitarian, and the Steelies.
the
I love it.
Steelies, the plastic. That one looks good. Yeah, let's just see it in red. It's gonna look dumb.
Oh, whoa.
Oh,
hang
okay,
on.
it's all painted.
The black diamond. I like those black Steelies with the
Yeah.
beefy tires. Give me that base model. Take me to the configurator.
We better buy a car.
Okay, so
mean-
$333 a month. You know what?
That's not
That's
bad.
not terrible.
That's
That's
not
less
bad.
than the average
Yeah, car payment.
car payment.
Yeah.
Damn.
What engine's gonna come in that though? How much is it gonna suck?
It's a 4-cylinder EcoBoost, I think.
Oh, can you get a manual?
Yes.
Fuck yeah. Oh,
But-
we went over this. I'm sorry. Yeah.
You can get a manual with a crawler.
It's not like anybody's gonna be like, oh, they keep talking about
2.3
the
EcoBoost.
But-
2.3 EcoBoost.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not the 2.7.
Yeah.
That's an optional engine,
Which is an option.
but you can't get it with a manual.
Yeah.
7-speed manual transmission.
What kind of power? They're not even advertising the power.
Um,
Are they no longer interested in advertising power at all? What's going on here?
it's more than 200 horsepower. I know that.
Well, I mean, that's like the basis of everything. But, like,
it's-
I mean, it's so big that you're going to need 300 plus to, like,
Well,
move these fucking things.
I don't know what it makes in here. It's probably tuned different for torque, but I know in the Mustang, it makes 305 horsepower.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
it's probably like
it'll
280,
move. It'll move okay.
somewhere around
yeah.
there.
You're never going to be pissed off about how slow it is.
Manual transmission, unavailable to order. I have to find one out in the wild.
Out in the wild.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But
Like, some dealer's going to have to, like, just end up having one.
yeah, that's not going to happen. But I would totally take a base model manual,
Yeah.
two-door. Specifically
you could,
two-door. I don't
you
want
could try Googling it. I mean, a lot of times, like, those things just, like, pop up with a... Because I wonder, like, this is what they're saying.
We might not be able to order it. A dealer might be able to, though.
Oh, okay. I see.
Maybe.
Yeah,
When I ordered my only experience with, like, buying a brand new vehicle was buying my motorcycle.
Yeah.
And they didn't have the color that I wanted in there,
Mm.
but they were able to order it, and it came in a couple months later.
Yeah.
So you might be able to order through the dealer. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm weird, and I would rather have a Wrangler because it would drive worse. This would drive too much like every other SUV. I want my off-road rig to drive like absolute shit on road and feel unstoppable off the road.
I wonder how well these do off-road. I wonder if anyone's, like, really put them up to the test.
From what I've seen, they can keep up with Wranglers just fine.
Yeah.
Stock for stock. When
Yeah.
you get really out there,
The
you know,
aftermarket support just surpasses it. Yeah.
the aftermarket support for the Wrangler is much better because it's been around
Yeah.
longer, and you get a lot more options, I think, for hardcore off-roading when you have a live axle up
Yeah.
front.
Yeah.
This has independent front suspension. But on the other hand, you've got Toyota 4Runners and all that running around on trails, and they're independent front suspension as well. But yeah, I want that awful driving experience of a Jeep Wrangler with a live front axle. And, it just kind of wanders down the road.
Yeah.
That's just, when I think of Wrangler, that's what I think of, and it would feel wrong to be in a Wrangler-like competitor
Yeah.
that doesn't drive like shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm weird.
Yep.
And
Because
I
I
know
don't
that.
feel
I
that way.
understand.
Yeah. I do not feel that way.
And, like, I've been in manual Wranglers before, even the JKs, back with the old Boat Anchor 3.7 and then the 3.6 Pentastar. Or no, I haven't driven a 3.6 Pentastar manual, but I've driven the old Boat Anchor, like 3800
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
V6 that was in, like, the minivans and all
Yep.
that.
Yep.
And the shifter felt agricultural. Like, it was a long metal stick, long throw, a little rubbery but also crunchy at the same time.
Yeah.
And it just fit the car perfectly.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is how this is meant to be.
Yeah. 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 Mm.
And that's
Yeah, I don't
kind of what I
know.
crave.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, I'd get like a two-door Wrangler with the old 4.0 straight six, so like a TJ or a
Yeah.
YJ.
Yeah, and speaking of that, the 4.0, it just always reminds me of the Cherokee. And, like, those, like, old, like, 96, 98 Cherokees.
Yeah, all the way back to the 80s.
Yeah, but just, like, that specific model always, like, just...
The XJ.
Yeah, just sitting in it and just, like, I don't know, there's something about, like, the doors.
It feels
it's
right.
Just small.
It
and,
feels
like,
shitty
the
and it feels
seats-
right.
Yeah, the seats are, like, way too comfy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Was
there's
that
something about those.
Yeah, it was Julio. It had a
Yes.
gold
Yep.
two-door,
Yeah.
5-speed,
Yeah.
4.0 Jeep Cherokee.
Yeah.
And
Shout out to Julio.
the last time I talked to him, that was years ago. He was like,
Yeah.
I regret selling that thing every day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, those things. Like, if I was going to buy one, like a Jeep today, that's like where I'm
Next
going.
J.
Yeah. Yeah. They're sick, dude.
Yeah, an XJ would be tight. A TJ or a YJ. Or older.
Yeah.
Like, literally just like TJ, YJ, older. Any
Yeah.
one of those.
And, like, Wranglers are cool, but, like, I don't know.
Well, I drove a, I forget if it was a TJ or YJ. I don't remember if it had the square headlights or the round headlights. But it was our parts guy's Wrangler at one of the dealerships that I was working on. And he wanted just to get an oil change done, so I brought it in to go do it. And I'm driving it. It's manual, 4.0. It's literally everything I want. And I go to pull it into the lift, and, pulling onto a lift is a lot of, like, full lock-to-lock turning, and it feels so weird because you're sitting right over that back axle, so you feel the front end swing around you.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, this is exactly what I want this to feel like. It's bizarre. It's uncomfortable, like how different it is.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you remember Jake Taylor or not.
The real Jake Taylor?
The real Jake Taylor. Shout out.
And you don't sit as close to the back axle on the Bronco, so
yeah.
it wouldn't feel as strange.
But he had that baby blue Jeep Wrangler.
Yeah, and he would do circle wheelies in the parking lot 'cause he had no sway bar.
Dude, yeah, so you remember. So, like, yeah, that thing was, like, crazy lifted, and he was like, talk about that, too, just how, like, it, like, when it snaps, he's like, you always notice that, like, they have that, like, crazy steering radius because, like, the short wheelbase. He's like, but up there, he's like, fuck that, dude.
Well, yeah, the thing was lifted like a foot.
Yeah, I think it was 16.
Yeah.
I think it was a 16-inch lift.
Yeah, because I remember standing next to it, and the floor is like here.
Yeah, crazy, dude.
And I'm pretty sure he had no sway bars on it because he was going around like full lock, just driving in circles in the parking lot. And the front inside wheel was in the air.
Yeah,
like a foot in the air.
Yeah. But yeah, just that momentum. Yeah, dude, crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and he drove it with no doors too.
Yeah.
On top of that,
we die like real men.
But yeah, the Bronco's too civilized and refined.
I know the doors don't even come off.
No, they do.
They do?
Yeah.
Let me see.
This is an absolute Wrangler competitor in
Really?
every sense of the word. But
The
they were
doors just
smarter.
unhook?
The windows are
the
frameless,
mirrors
so that it
stay.
just comes off and the mirrors attached to that. The only thing I think it doesn't do is fold the windshield down.
I think these are like, yeah, but nobody's.
Well, what's funny is going
Who's
from the
folding the
JK
windshield
to
down?
whatever the newest Wrangler is. I forget. JL, I
Who
think.
wants the windshield down?
Going from the JK to the JL, Jeep actually made it easier to fold the window down because a lot of people were complaining that they never folded their windshield down on the JK because it was so hard.
Yeah.
So they made it easier. Again, I don't think anyone's actually doing it, but it's a neat heritage thing.
Yeah. Can we see one with it folded down?
JL Wrangler?
Yeah.
I don't know how many of those didn't register, but yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck? What the fuck am I looking at, dude? That's so dumb.
Oh, that's an old JK. See, look.
So you can barely see over top
so
of
the
that
JL,
bitch.
they made it much easier, much simpler. You look at the JK.
No, go back to that picture. You can see that
bizarre.
guy is doing his very damned to be up straight.
Yeah.
Fuck that. It looks dumb.
It's pointless. It is. Oh, here's an old TJ with it folded
See,
down.
that looks like it makes sense.
Yeah, 'cause it's an old
But I don't see why you would want that. It seems like an awful experience.
Yeah, there's
And
absolutely no reason.
What has
for
happened
it.
to the rigidity of that vehicle now? She gone.
Don't worry about it.
Wait, where did the don't think about it. Where did the pillars go in this video?
Right there. That's
Nope.
the A pillar.
And then the one that goes across the top?
That's still attached. That's why for the JL they made it different.
Yeah, see, like, wait, I don't... Go back to that other picture. Like, how... Does it just go that far? Is that like, steep of an angle?
What do you mean?
So, the one picture, it looked like the entire roof was gone. So, like, yeah, like, the whole roof... Where's the pillar that goes across the top? Am I missing that?
This pillar right here?
Yeah, does the top of that windshield just meet...
That's part of the door.
Oh, it's the door that's
I think
missing.
that's part of the door.
But that door should still close into something. Right? Like, see, like, how that has the roof line
Hang
still?
on. Let's just look up a JK Wrangler.
Because I know it's got to make sense. I'm just missing it because I've never had to do this. And if anyone is just...
Okay, so yeah, there is a bar. I guess it's removable.
Yeah.
But if you look here, this entire, like, plate, you have to
that
unbolt
makes
and
sense.
take off,
Yeah.
then you can fold it down.
Yeah. Yeah, that part made sense. I'm like, where did that top bar go?
That top bar? Yeah, I guess it's removable.
We might need to see a small video that can just play in the background with no noise. Let's just...
Of the JK or the JL?
Just go back and then do videos. Just hit back and go to video.
Nah,
oh, okay.
We're going to go to YouTube.
Type it all back in.
JK Wrangler windshield, and it'll probably come up.
Someone doing a windshield. Ah.
Now, this is a JL. This isn't a JK, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a JL. We don't want that. I specifically typed JK Wrangler.
It's an 18. That might be it.
Hang
But that
on,
one
I
still
gotta
had
see
the-
the front grille. That is a JL. Fold down the windshield on cheap JK.
Not the super long intros that we just love. This is why we just get right into our podcast.
You got to take off the windshield wipers.
Dude.
You got to take that plate off. If you have any accessories mounted to it. And you got to take that whole plate off.
What the fuck? Who would want to do this?
There's some bolts in there you got to take out. You got to...
Dude, this is so much work.
Yeah, that's why they made it easier for the next one.
I don't care. I don't like it. I think this is dumb. Like, the windshield's down.
It's not for you.
Like, no, I don't think it's for anyone. If anyone's doing it, it's literally, it's the epitome of, it's a Jeep thing, bro. I fucking hate this shit. Like,
no, it's literally like
people,
it's just
go
a
click on that
heritage
video. Dude, for what?
It's just a heritage thing.
What did we use it for back in the day?
Back in the day?
Yeah. Who?
For reasons. I don't know what the war application was in World War II, but they did it.
They're like, you know what would make this better? If we just didn't remove the windshield, we just let it lay down, and now we're better off this way. Jesus. Like, that's about as fast as you want to go. Like, dude, he's never going to leave the fucking parking lot.
Gotta wear goggles.
Which is ridiculous. He's looking a million ways as if he can't fucking see that there's not any traffic coming. No.
This doesn't look like a good time to you?
No, it doesn't. It looks like this guy needs a bike. He needs a motorcycle. All his dumb shit he's attached to his dash. I don't know. I'm sorry if I don't care whose feelings I'm hurting. I'm just not a fan of people who drive Jeeps because it's this shit. Fucking dude, there's so many people that like I see riding around that just have the top like not even all the way back.
Just fold it open.
Yeah, because they know how hard it is to fold that all the way down and then get that bitch all the way back up and get all the windows zipped back in, and they won't do it. And then there's this asshole who just takes the whole roof off. Like, you fuck. Oh my god, all the Decepticons all over this fucking thing. Bro. What the fuck? Not the California. Oh, you sure?
That's a Canadian flag.
Dude, the spinner.
This guy's living his best life. And you're just a hater.
I am, dude. I'm a fucking hater. I don't know. I'm guilty of doing dumb shit with cars and like spending dumb amount of money on things and wasting time and energy. But I just everything that a Jeep person does, So
you're not a fan of the ducks?
Yeah, the ducks on the dash. Fuck no. We put them duck on my dash. There's always a point in this podcast where I just get fired up for no reason.
It's not just about the ducks. You see another cool Jeep, you give them one of your ducks. And if someone sees your cool Jeep, they gave you one of their ducks.
Yeah, it's like some like weird like sex cult. It's like this weird thing that you guys.
I actually saw one video where a guy had taxidermy duckling and he left one on a Jeep. Just to be fucking weird.
Yeah. Yep. That's just one more Jeep guy. It's a Jeep thing,
he
bro.
was making fun of it.
It's a Jeep thing, bro. You wouldn't get it.
I don't know if he was a Jeep
I don't think
guy.
you would get it. I hate that.
I got your Jeep thing. Now it burns when I pee.
Hey, Jeep guy. I hate it. Like, what are we doing?
Jeep wave.
The Jeep wave.
Yeah, so much gayer than the biker wave.
Oh, like when they're just like...
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's gay because I feel like motorcycles are a unique thing, and it is a niche. Like, number one, not everybody can ride them, and everybody can drive a Jeep. Everybody can take the fucking roof off.
Everybody. Not, you're saying people are taking it all the way off.
True. People can't. No, people can't. You're right. Okay, if I see one with the roof all the way off, windshield down, dude's on the highway next to me driving, he gets respect. I hope his fucking dumbass ducks.
I
hope his dumbass ducks don't fly off his fucking
He's
windshield.
covered in mud because he has the windshield down. Yeah. Like, everything's just dirty.
Wiping off all of his ducks.
He's got goggles. He's just...
Now... I'm sure the next question you're going to ask is does this infuriate me as much as the Whittle Waddle?
The Whittle Waddle.
And I don't think it does. It's not as much. But I would also have to say that the people with the TRD banners on their Forerunners.
A lot of them kind of come with that though.
No, not the banner on the windshield.
Oh, that.
Yeah,
People
people
talking
go.
about like the TRD badging on the side. I'm like,
Yeah, when you buy TRD, they get a little jazzed up. But I've been the same thing with the Raptor, and I doesn't not the duck impression duck. No, but the RAV4 fellas, they also get out there. But like no one compares to like how delusional Jeep people get. It's crazy.
starting at $31,000. That's about the same price as the Bronco, right?
So you got to be a rich idiot. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm shitting on Jeep people too hard.
Build your Wrangler.
My bad. Damn. 50,
do they not sell the two-door anymore?
$50,000 for the electric one?
Oh, two-door.
31. Man, you're thinking about it. Is that why we're here? Is that why we're back on this?
That's why I'm here.
It's $0 extra for white.
Yeah, every other paint option costs money.
We'll go white. Yeah. You gotta let everyone know that you're broke.
Doors off mirror kit. Yeah, you can get a mirror kit so that you can mount your mirrors off the door and take your doors off. Oh, stripes and decals. Now, there's one option I'm looking for.
Is it the ducks?
Yes.
If you could get factory
option.
ducks, that would be actually kind of funny.
It's Manuel. Actually, where's the option for that? I want to make sure it's
factory
manual.
Jeep ducks would be funny.
Factory.
I bet
Jeep
you they got
ducks.
them in the dealership. They're like, "Hey, we got you guys
Powertrain,
your first duck.
3.6, 6
We're
speed
gonna
manual.
give you your first duck."
Yep. That's it. Yep. Cool. Where is the locker or the limited slip? Like there needs to at least be that.
They don't have a 4-cylinder option.
No, they did have a diesel option.
Ooh.
But it was automatic only, and that's a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, and also it seems like I meant to ask Wes as well if he just has like heard of any like diesel cars that are doing well these days. Because I think the diesel cars have kind of died, huh?
Yeah, you can thank Volkswagen for that.
Yeah, I mean they kind of like because like. Yeah, they did. They did lie a lot, but like, weren't they doing okay still?
No.
Like diesels did not get the gas mileage because I felt like
it did. But
people,
the other thing that kind of
the emissions
falls by the wayside is Volkswagen put a lot of people down with them. A lot
like
of other
who?
Companies. Mercedes got caught cheating. BMW got caught cheating. Like I don't know if anyone was actually making.
This was literally like
this killed diesels.
Wait, so no one was making the right gas mileage?
Well,
or fuel economy?
To get the fuel economy and the power, they had to run dirty. Or they could run clean and get shitty power and fuel economy. So what they would do is they'd run shitty but cleanly for the testing.
Yeah.
And then go out on the road and run dirty but make decent power and get good fuel economy.
Yeah, so you kind of can't have one. So I was going to say, because I've known a lot of people who had those old diesel Jettas, which I loved. I love the old, like, clacky.
I have a buddy that's selling one if you want it.
I kind of do. But, like, the old clacky, but those would actually get,
really
like, 50 miles to the
gallon.
gallon. What are you looking for?
Yeah, they ran dirty.
Yeah, but
the first
do.
one
They
that
run
gives
like
me
shit.
something other than an open diff.
Oh, yeah, that's ridiculous. Like, not being able to have a limited slip with a Jeep? Like,
so,
how great can your Jeep be?
So, a couple years ago, like, not too many, but, like, maybe 3 years ago, I had gone on the Jeep website just to, like, kind of mess around. And you could get a Wrangler. It wasn't the base model. It was either, like, the Sport or it was, like, the Willys. It was $34,000, not $44,000 or $40,000. And then you could
did this on another podcast. We could go back.
And you could, I don't think I went into this,
we
but
did.
You could option a limited slip rear. And that's like all I would want on a Wrangler. A two-door Wrangler, manual, with at least a limited slip. I'd like a locker, but that's more expensive.
Yeah.
Keeping it as cheap as possible, a limited slip will get you
You
out
could
of
get
like
a locker
90%.
on a RAV4 in like 2005.
I don't think that was like at the axle. I thought that was just locking the front and rear. But the
I think
front
it
and rear
locked
were
the
both
transfer
open.
case.
Yeah, but the front and rear discs are still open.
Yeah.
So essentially you go
probably
from
limited slip at the front, open in the rear, right?
that you're anticipating Toyota equipped a RAV4 with a limited slip.
I mean, if they have you a locker option, I would love to look in because I've always. Sorry, I'm hijacking. Go ahead. So your Jeep will not come with a limited slip.
I guess not until you get to the frickin' $50,000 Rubicon model.
Jesus.
But yeah, back in the day, it was like $34,000 option with the limited slip
Yeah.
out the door, or not out the door, but like
It's-
MSRP was like $32,000 to $34,000.
Yeah.
That was like maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. Now, back in the day, would it have been more of a standard thing? Like if you bought an old Wrangler from like 2001.
It wouldn't have been standard. It would have been an optional or an aftermarket add-on that someone did.
So like you would probably guess that most of them came with open diffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. All right. Because I don't know, like I just feel like they're so good at off-road, but like that's like step number 1, you know?
A locker,
Or limited slip.
at
Like
least.
at least, right? Cuz like a RAV4 or I'm not like a huge Toyota fan here, but like even like the 4Runner. Like don't you think that would come with like let's look that up. Can you buy a 4Runner or even the Bronco? We should look that up.
I still do have this open.
Yeah.
So Bronco base, build and price. Let's go. What are my options?
Send me location.
Build my own. Base.
Two-door.
2-door base. Drive. 4-wheel drive with part-time drive. Or 4x4 part-time. Yeah, that's fine. That engine, yep. Limited. Now it says limited availability, but yeah. Locking rear. But that requires you to get the Sasquatch package, which I believe...
Sasquatch package. Not the Sasquatch package.
I guess they changed it because it used to be you only got the Sasquatch package with the automatic.
Ah.
Manual's still selected. So maybe they changed that.
Well, because you can't be busy shifting gears while you're looking for the Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Assumably,
Can I put these back on with the Sasquatch? Nope, it gets rid of Sasquatch. I don't get the cool Steelies. I get the fancy... I don't know if they're actually bead lock or just faux bead lock.
Go back up, see what it says. Does it say bead lock on there? Because that would be actually kind of sick if these were like bead lock. Yeah, bead lock capable.
So they
you
can
could
be...
bolt a bead lock.
You could bead lock them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's sick.
Because I don't think... Are any of these limited slip? Standard. The Sasquatch available locking differentials. Doesn't specify on any of these.
Yeah. That is interesting, though.
Standard on Badlands with trans.
It's funny that they don't like specify that much information. They, like for a dealer website that like is literally making all of these things and like they have all this information, they don't give you a whole lot. Like drown me in information.
Yeah, but how much has this raised our price, our monthly price for a 48-month lease? I don't want to lease. I want to buy this thing. Why are these websites such a pain in the ass to use?
I know. You'd think.
$44,000. Yeah, that upped it $10,000 because it upped the trim level. It's no longer a base.
Right. Yeah. So that's true. So that means we can't get. It's the same, and I'm sure.
Well,
like,
I mean, it's
still slightly cheaper.
Yeah,
than
the Jeep. I haven't seen an option for a locker or limited slip,
without going to the Rubicon,
which is 50.
Yeah.
47 if you got a 2-door.
Yeah.
And even
so
then,
pretty much the same.
Option. Tires, interior, packages, 6-speed manual. We got optional things, but
yeah, I mean, it's also just kind of crazy to me that like there's things like never came standard. I don't know. I guess like is it not that big of a deal? Like I mean,
well, you think about it. Most people who buy a Jeep Wrangler, do they go off road?
Well, no, but back in the day, don't you think that like shouldn't that have been like kind of part of how it makes its name? Is that like we all knew that that's what they did?
Truth be told, I don't even know if the original Willys Jeep that they used in the war had lockers.
Probably not, because that was seriously base, and like that wasn't like, it's getting over some terrain, but it wasn't like legitimately doing shit. Like we had tanks for that.
It was legitimately doing shit. It had to legitimately do shit. That was a war zone with craters from mortars and artillery.
And I just don't. I mean, I can't imagine that the old limited or the old open diffs were some way more compatible than the new ones, but like we've all seen open diffs just eat shit in puddles. Like, come on.
Yeah, I don't know. If they didn't have open, if they had open diffs back then, I could see them just like, oh, it's off-road rugged and ready as it is, and they never bothered to put it on there outside of an option. Because Dana axles are like.
I wonder if it's just
common.
from being 4-wheel drive on its own, where that's just not as big of a problem.
Well, I'll put it to you this way: with open differentials, you have the amount of like wheels you have that are being powered. So if you have a front-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive car, technically, in the worst-case scenarios, you have a one-wheel drive vehicle.
Yeah.
If you have a locking center diff or a transfer case, which is just locked by design, now you have a two-wheel drive vehicle in the worst-case scenario, which is better than a one-wheel drive vehicle, so it will get you out of more.
Yeah.
But if you get into a scenario where two of your wheels and they're on different axles are unloaded, then yeah, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Until you get a limited slip or a locker.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I kind of do want to look into that that RAV4 thing. I mean, I don't know if it's like fair to do on the pod, but
yeah, maybe we'll research that.
We'll research
later.
it and come back. But we had some other non-car related stuff to talk about, didn't we? We talked a lot about cars, a lot about electric.
Yeah. So hey, brains in computers.
Yeah, they got brains in them, Jones.
Like actual people brains.
Yep.
Made out of people brain stem cells.
Yep.
I've heard about that. They're called like organoids.
And so, what are they like? Are they looking for like neuro pathways to
they take
program?
They take some
brains?
Neuron cells,
Yeah.
brain cells, and they put them in a petri dish or a jar or whatever, and then they let them grow and make connections, and it's little tiny brains.
Mm-hmm. And then how do we get those into a computer?
Well, they can be trained to respond to different stimuli, whether that be electrical, exclusively electrical. Actually, that's how neurons communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And you find a way, I'm assuming, to hook that up to a computer chip. And, within a computer chip, everything is binary ones and zeros, one being like an electrical charge, zero being no charge.
Mm-hmm.
So you train the brain organoid thing to understand that binary, power or no power, and I guess the neurons transmit their own electricity in response, and you use that to process data in the same way that like a transistor inside a microchip or a bunch of transistors inside a microchip would process, data.
So here's the question: How does this benefit us?
Well, they consume a lot less power. Is the biggest thing that I'm seeing for the amount of computing that they can do.
How do these stay alive?
Well, they don't. So, them being cells and organic, they need oxygen, but them just being a brain in a jar, they don't have a circulatory system to feed them oxygenated blood. So they put them in a media that's like rich in oxygen, and they agitate it to make sure like the cells can like try to absorb some of the oxygen, but I think they only last like 100 days. So they're constantly changing them out.
Like a battery.
Yeah.
So you're saying this is like the Matrix, and that we're all just plugged in.
No way. This is...
And that we just figured it out in our own simulation, that we have the technology to make the simulation.
Well,
is that not what you were thinking?
No, but that is another thing that we can talk about.
Tangible. But, before I hijack it to another conversation, so I guess like they have to first figure out how they can make them last. But like I mean, it's fun, I guess, a little bit. But like if they're only lasting 100 days, and like are they better? They use less energy, but like you have to keep replacing them.
Yeah, but cells just kind of grow on their own. So if you have like an assembly line behind you, just constantly churning out and training these organoids.
So this is not quite something that we're even close to being like, hey, we bought a new computer with the human brain.
No, but there is a company,
like a little jelly boy in there.
Called Final Spark that has something called Neuro Platform, which is I think it's like a data processing center. So like a
factory
server
that's making a bunch of brains, and then they have a server that's computing quantum mechanics.
Yeah, and it's gross. They call it wetware.
Hey, yo.
Instead of software or hardware, it's
hey,
wetware.
Yo.
But they've got their own like server that's made up of these brain chips.
Yeah.
And for $500 a month, you can access their computing power.
Where do they get the cells?
Stem cells.
From?
I don't know. Aborted fetuses? Is that where we're going? No, I genuinely don't know where they get them from. But
yeah. Well, because like if it's somebody who just donated or somebody who like a cadaver, you know, but I don't like. There's not much you can get from like a normal human being, generally speaking.
I think they can take them from.
Most of the time, it's umbilical cords.
Yeah, and I think they can do that without harming like development of a fetus or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, they can. They have to literally as soon as they cut it, they have to like rush it off, just like some millionaire.
But hey, it's stem cells that can self-replicate, so you don't need to keep harvesting.
No, and I'm ready for it because I'd throw one in my back. You know what I mean?
Maybe I'll throw one in my neck while I'm at it.
Yeah, I know. We're just breaking. We turned 30, and now
everything falls apart.
The fuck, man.
But yeah, look at this. If you're with a university or an education, $500 a month for selected projects, you get access to 4 shared organoids. And if you are industrial, you can contact them and get dedicated organoids as needed. Doesn't that sound foreboding?
Foreboding?
Yeah, just ominous.
I love that they're advertising for it as if there was a market. Like, what the fuck are we going to use these for? Like, we're just dying for these like little brain batteries.
They're not batteries, they're
but I'm
chips.
I'm obviously like, so you could just buy a computer chip with a brain attached to it?
You're not buying it, you're buying access to it.
Oh, you're just buying their data storage.
Data storage and processing for biocomputing research. 24/7 remote access to brain organoid, real-time neural stimulation and reading.
Why would we need to know that? That's like saying that like, hey, like we're gonna sign up with Comcast, but I just need to know exactly how far you guys are computing on your level of like internet. Like I need those dynamics all real time. Whenever I want to click on Comcast and see what I'm getting.
See, I don't actually know like exactly what they're doing. I wish I did. I'm trying to read through their website now, but like, you could be a researcher and then you send your experiments in, it processes it and sends the data back using these brains. These organoids.
I see what you're saying. I'm starting to not like this. It's like, I don't know, like this seems like it's like the beginning of like a movie. Like this place, like the brains get out, right?
Man-made horrors beyond your comprehension.
Was that Jimmy Neutron episode with the brain? Was that Jimmy Neutron? I had like the brain that was like,
probably.
I thought that was like something that like the brain was like doing. What was that? But yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. This like scary brain that takes over.
I remember Sheen got really smart and started to take over.
Different episode though. I might be thinking of a different show. But like I remember the cartoon looking the same. But this is definitely an odd innovation.
Yeah, I mean, I think
can't lie.
One of the biggest benefits to it is it takes a lot less power for the same amount of computing power than a digital like silicon chip. So it can do like if you had a silicon chip that could process as much data as one of these organoids, it would take way more electricity to run. And we are running into like issues with power consumption on electricity, especially with AI that is power intensive.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's I think Google just bought a factory that's next to a nuclear plant. And the intention is to be like, hey, we need the power, you know? Yeah. Because, I mean, I think that's, like, the next step is that, like, you're going to see people with, like, small, with whatever, but, like, generating power on their own facility for their own factory that just, it's a hub for AI.
It's funny you say that. I was about to say, like, a lot of the paths forward that, some people are speculating is, like, right now, all the big players in AI, they have everything in-house in, like, one big server room, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And, they're like on the verge of needing or are starting to make like their own power plants just to run these facilities. Right. So like every time you use ChatGPT isn't the program on your phone.
Right.
You're connecting to the ChatGPT like server over the internet.
Yeah.
It processes your request there and then sends back the response.
Yeah.
and it's just sucking up enormous amounts of energy. So you go to the future where every company wants their own like bespoke AI, and if they want to run that, then does every company need their own like power plant on site?
Basically, I think that's where it's going to get to.
Yeah. So we actually almost went that direction way back when like we were first electrifying the country. Yeah, you had
like little power plants for every like large industrial thing, or is it
for damn near like every building in like New York or Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like it was because Edison was pushing DC power.
Yeah.
Nikola Tesla was pushing AC.
Yeah.
Edison pushing.
But I just
DC.
mean like the AC DC, like that turning in the century where they're like, which one's going to win?
Yeah.
And like Edison
DC
had transformers on like every other block.
He had power substations in every building.
Yeah.
So yeah, we almost went that route.
Yeah.
But then Nikola Tesla's AC won out, and that can go a lot farther without.
Yeah. Now
needing
we
to
were
be
fine.
boosted.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we're kind of heading back in that direction, maybe.
Yeah. Well, now, yeah, unless like someone else just comes up with a better way to power shit, but maybe it's
every
these little
building
brains.
gets a thorium nuclear reactor in the basement.
Yeah, or they, yeah, yeah. But I mean, even if it was, yeah, I mean, kind of has to be right to get that kind of power. Like you
and
would
not
just need like
just
little
blot
baby
out
reactors.
the sun with
coal
coal and greenhouse gases.
Yeah, or like wind farms. I mean, like
Nah.
I know it never would do it, but solar. I feel
Nah.
like solar could, but not for a building. Not for a building. Not for cities. It wouldn't work. It'd be too big.
I'm a big proponent of nuclear, which has probably become obvious to.
Yeah, I know, but I think the runner-up,
watch this.
could be like somewhere out in the like.
Yeah, we could use them to supplement it where it makes sense.
Yeah,
You go to a place that's
flat.
got constant wind.
Yeah,
Or you go to a place that's got constant running water. You can set up a hydroelectric dam.
yeah,
Or you go out to Death Valley. Set
Yeah.
up fields of solar panels.
No way Beavers made all that. The Hoover Dam, these fucking beavers. No.
You're telling me a shrimp fried that rice?
Shrimp fry. That's so good. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, ChatGPT and like even like I don't know where you're at with Bitcoin and all the digital currency, but everybody thinks it's coming back. And that was the same thing. There's like mining farms, like of just being able to compute.
Where people would buy up like all the graphics cards.
Yeah.
And then like just burn electricity to run these things at like full blast to mine Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies.
Same thing. So I mean, if that comes back, it takes off.
We're heading to some kind of like turning point here, because even aside from all that, like NVIDIA released last year their 4070 series graphics cards, and like we're running into a hard limit of like how much power these things can consume, because they're starting to outstrip the ability of like the electrical panels in the houses now. Like, they're drawing so much wattage, they're actually like tripping breakers.
Who's affording that? Like, right? Like,
well,
I mean, for the folks at home who are
you talking about like the cost of these graphics cards or the electricity?
The electricity. I mean, I pay a lot of electric, and like sometimes like just off of like whether it's air conditioning.
Well, see, the thing is, you couldn't fathom paying for that because you're poor like me.
This is news to me. This is let me wrap my head around being broke. But no, go on, go off, King.
Have you ever had to replace all 4 tires at once?
Yeah. Why are they cost so much money?
That's not looking good.
It's not looking good. I love that fucking video.
And it's painful.
It's painfully true.
Yeah. Why are tires so expensive?
Why are they so expensive? But I'm not. What was it?
Look, there are people who make like an $800 a month car payment, and that's just normal for them.
Yeah.
I could not fathom that.
Yeah. I know. Even the $1,400. I mean, like for an $83,000 Tesla Plaid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
but anyway, but yeah, so people are paying a lot of electricity, I guess, like to power these things and tripping the shit in their house, which is crazy. But yeah, and so like between like you're saying with the grid and like just power supplies in general and just how much it's costing to like operate each one of these.
We're getting to the point. Yeah, we're getting to the point where like we have the know-how.
Something's got to
like
change.
Continue pushing these boundaries, but we've outstripped our infrastructure.
Yeah.
Or we're outstripping our infrastructure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting to the point where like foundational elements of our society are gonna need to change. And I don't mean like that from like a culture or anything, but I mean like physically our society.
Yeah.
What makes our civilization.
But which is also crazy too, because like some of our fucking power lines are still in the sky. Like not like, you know what I mean? Like that part of like that innovation where they're like, wow, like all the power is underground here. This is insane. That was a big deal, you know? I mean, a long time ago, but like still. But like to that point, we still have it. We still have these
We've just
power
made
lines.
the towers out of metal and taller.
Yeah. But I mean, just mean like just right outside. Like my electricity comes like through a pole from the sky. It's not underground, you know?
Yeah.
So like we haven't even made it that far, and we're already like, yeah, let's just get rid of it all because it doesn't work anymore. Like we're like, you know, like to your point, 20 years max, and like that'll be like it'll be like, oh yeah, this is the new thing, and it's Elon will do it.
Yeah, he'll figure out how to make wireless transmission from a Dyson sphere around the sun to Earth, and then from Earth to the ground, all without wires.
Damn, yo.
Actually, no, we know how to do that. It's just not currently feasible. We don't quite have the technology.
Scalable.
We understand the physics.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can take a microwave and like beam it down to Earth and transmit power that way, but getting a satellite up there that's got a strong enough emitter and then a receiver that can take that power without melting, and God forbid you walk through that.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a couple things.
The United States.
Although what I've been seeing more and more of lately, and just because I've been seeing it doesn't mean it's happening.
Yeah.
But a lot more of these architectural firms are like working on like space elevator buildings.
Space elevator?
So, do you know what a space elevator is and the
Nope.
physics behind it?
Nope.
Okay.
Not at all.
Do you know what a geostationary satellite is?
Nope. I mean, I probably could guess. No.
So, you know, real quick abridged physics lesson here. When you throw something, it travels in a parabolic arc.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it arches.
Yeah.
The Earth, and this is controversial, but the Earth is round. So if you throw something hard enough, that arc will eventually match the curvature of the ground, and instead of falling back to the ground, it'll fall around the ground.
Yeah.
Fall around the Earth. And the closer you are to the Earth's surface, the faster you need to go to maintain that arc.
Mm-hmm.
Further out you go, gravity gets weaker. You know, it influences you less. You can go slower.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, you go slow enough where from the ground it looks like you're just staying in the same spot in the sky, but what you're doing is you're matching the Earth's rotation.
Ah.
That's a geostationary orbit.
Yeah.
So what you do is you put a big fucking rock out there, or, you know, you build a big heavy building out there. And then you attach a cable back to the ground.
Whoa.
And, you know, with the weight differences in weight and mass and all that, you know, the orbit
I thought
has
that
to
could
change.
work.
By physics, yes, it can.
Come on, Elon.
So I've seen a couple architectural firms that are like taking advantage of that. Like I think there's one in Tokyo that's like, we want to build a skyscraper that goes out to space and it's just held in place by centrifugal force of the Earth spinning and just holding.
What the fuck? Hang on a minute. You can't build a building that goes to space.
Yeah, that's exactly what it takes advantage of. You put a counterweight on the end there, and that you're not supporting like. At that point, you're not holding you're not fighting gravity holding it down. You're actually in tension because that rock's trying to fling off into space.
Yeah.
And
But
if you,
why
if
doesn't
you put it in
look,
the right
I get,
spot,
like,
it
I mean,
balances out, and there's like no force.
An electrical cable or something like connecting the two.
Put a couple thorium reactors on the way up, and just generate the power where you need it.
Crazy. Can you imagine like a building that would just go higher than you could see?
That's exactly what this is.
This is crazy.
And then there was another one that
Can I just get some like visuals on like some concepts? Because this is fucking crazy. This is like Jack and the Beanstalk. What the fuck?
I don't know what it's called. It's not exactly a space elevator. No, not E. Space. All right, never mind. We're going to go straight to space elevator.
Yeah, let's go.
Space eel. Yep.
Space eel is probably something. Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, so.
I feel like that thing right there.
This?
Yeah. That's what Tokyo's got in mind.
But there was another firm, I think, in Japan is working on an elevator. Space. What year was this? Is this that most recent one?
Dude, I'm so sick of living in historical times. What the fuck? $90 billion.
Yeah, space elevators are tight.
A space elevator. Ooh, that one looks fun. Like European space one over.
This?
Yeah.
That's a laser.
Freaking laser beams. Yeah, dude, this is literally Jack and
And
the
imagine
Beanstalk.
you're like in one of these branch off arms. It's got windows looking down, and you just look down. That's what you see.
Yeah.
Like that'd be tight.
Imagine you were born in one. You never went to Earth.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
What gets even
Ooh, what about this one? Dave Seeley. Coming straight out of like
space
a city.
elevator Brazil.
Yeah.
But what gets really weird is the farther up
Wow.
the tower you go, the weaker gravity becomes until you're up there and like now you don't weigh anything.
You don't think that they would have it like the space station where like you can shut that, like they're like creating gravity,
Well, they're not creating gravity on the space station.
or like like but once you're up there, like you can like
I mean, if you
can't
go,
they like create it so that you just stop
you can
fucking
create
floating around?
centrifugal force that mimics gravity.
Yeah.
But you would need like here they have this ring here. If this ring spun, this outer wall all the way around the edge would be the floor.
Yeah.
So you'd be like standing sideways in comparison to Earth.
Yeah.
But you could do that.
And it would be real bad if it broke, huh? Like if anything broke.
Yeah. Because we don't have any material that's like strong enough to support that kind of weight.
Yeah.
So if this broke, this might actually stay. If they put that perfectly balanced in geostationary orbit, which would be very hard to do, then this might actually end up staying right there. It might drift a little bit, but
Yeah.
you'd be relatively okay here. But this would come crashing down.
Yeah. Yeah, bad.
The entire stem underneath the counterweight.
This is crazy. And so, maybe we're tanging, but how does this help? Who's this helping?
This
Who
helps
wants
the
this?
indomitable human spirit. This is a fuck you to physics because we can. And I am all for that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
That
Well, I
and,
thought we
you
were
know-
talking about like space helping us with electrical power. I thought that was like an advantage here. and
No,
this is
I
for
said something I
funsies.
had seen.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I
That's
guess
what I thought. I was like, are we in a
you
tangent?
you could put solar panels up here and just run a
Oh my
wire
God,
down.
dude.
But there was another firm that I think is like based out of New York or something. I forget. But they wanted to do one of these that wasn't actually tethered to the Earth, and it would actually travel around the planet, just from like the natural like orbital.
And what the
inclination
fuck
when it
would that
changes.
do?
Well, you could.
Is everything all for funsies?
I guess.
I mean, look, I'm all for funsies, but like, there's a lot of hate on Earth. There's a lot of war on Earth, and people are out here just spending $90 billion on funsies.
On
Fucking
funsies.
cut it out.
Man, if I type in floating building, and I just get shit for water. No.
Do space floating.
Space floating building.
Pace.
Oh my god, this keyboard.
Yeesh. You really gotta.
Yep, firm floats plan to hang colossal skyscraper from an asteroid.
Dude. I'm done with you billionaires.
Yep, and that's what it would look like, just hanging out of the sky. And it would just fly across
I'm
the
done with you billionaires. Fucking cut it out. Go solve some real
New York
problems.
City-based design
somewhere.
firm has floated a mind-bending
Fucks.
plan for the erection of a skyscraper built as the world's tallest building ever.
Who the fuck's doing this?
It's the Analema, however you pronounce it, Analemma.
And I bet they ain't fucking donated a bottle of water to anybody. What the fuck?
It would be suspended in air by cables from an asteroid repositioned into geosynchronous Earth
Imagine
orbit.
doing this and Flint, Michigan doesn't have drinking water. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck, dude? I just went like last night. I slept through most of it, but I went through like 8 hours of not having water in my house, and I was pissed. Flint's been like that for fucking 35 years. And this dude's like, oh, let's put a skyscraper off of a fucking walk in the middle of nowhere. Like, for who?
All right.
Who's going?
To play the devil's advocate here, instead of building a drift car, why don't you donate that money towards helping Flint's water situation?
I could give them $1,000, and then they would do nothing with it. You know, like obviously like a billionaire.
Yeah, but if everyone put aside all the frivol, I can't say that word.
Okay, well let's
Frivolities.
all sign off the $5.
I'm just playing the devil's advocate
No, I
here,
like it
all
though.
right?
I like it though. I think we're actually getting somewhere. let's all sign off that we have $5,000 per diem to give to Flint, Michigan. And once we get the number that they need, is it 90 billion? Because like once we've all given in $5,000 and we get to 90 billion, I don't know.
Did Flint, Michigan get federal aid?
I don't think so. I mean, if they
because
did,
if they did, then you've already given them money.
It's corrupt, but yes, I'm sure that they did. If because I did kind of like fall down a rabbit hole one day about that, and like there was like tons of buildings that like abandoned buildings that people like broke into for fun, and then they were like, "Yo, there's like pallets of water in here," like we're like, I don't think it was like some big conspiracy. Katrina, that's might have been what it was.
That happened in Puerto Rico too.
Yeah.
And then they tried to blame that on Trump not sending any aid at all.
Well, and
I think the mayor of Puerto Rico knew about that.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. But like, here's my thing. Like when I from seeing all that, I was like, who the fuck is just holding on to water? Like it's not like they were like, oh, don't. It was like, literally, it's such like a big thing that was so disorganized that they probably just forgot. And they were like, oh yeah, we're all done. The money ran out, and they're like, don't we have all that water? And they're like, look, we're going to have to get to it later. Like, we have no one to, like, pay, like, unless you're going to give it out for free. Like, we're all done here. We have to be evac'd out, and we're going to the next fucking terrible event.
Mm-hmm.
And then
gross incompetence.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that you say that all the time. Like, that's generally speaking.
So,
most of the world's mysteries are the incompetence.
Just gross incompetence. So, what I'm saying is that instead of stopping people from doing shit like this, because I think this is fucking cool, how about we just figure out the gross incompetence first?
I'm fine with that. But like, don't you think like we could do both?
Yeah.
Like, if you.
That's my argument all the time is we can do both.
Yeah.
So you're sitting here going, I'm tired of these billionaires doing this when Flint, Michigan has no water.
Okay, but they're talking all this shit, and no one said a fucking word about Flint. They got. Videos.
Be the change you want to see.
Show
in the
me.
world.
All right. Well, I'm gonna need your help because I'm not a fucking engineer, or any way of knowing how we would fucking fix the water thing. But I'm sure there's got to be a way. Put some new pipes in. Put pipes above ground.
Do you know how I would fix this?
What?
Bring back tarring and feathering.
Oh my god.
Find the people in charge who fucked that up royally and who allowed the problem to happen in the first place.
Yeah, and so I think that there's not even like really much blame. I think
there's a lot of blame to go around.
I thought like at the time when it was all being built, like we just didn't know. I think that people.
But we know now it should have been fixed. Codes get updated all the time.
Yeah, we should. I think it's another one that like we should do more research on. But I'm pretty positive that the problem is that to be able to change that much infrastructure, it would like just. It would be $90 billion, and like no one's ready to just give up $90 billion to put running water in everyone's houses.
All right. Well, first off, the reason it costs that much is because they let it get that bad.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Second off, it shouldn't cost $90 billion.
Yeah.
That is also gross incompetence and corruption.
Well, even if it's $7 billion, they're like the government's using $7 million to
we just put $7 billion to put chargers in.
Yeah. Like. We're just like
again, this is gross incompetence.
Yeah.
So,
Adrian for president. That's it. Adrian Records for president.
Gonna bring back tarring and
like at least,
feathering.
At least like 2050. 2050. It's gonna be your year.
Yeah,
sure. Got a good ring to it. 2050. President for change.
Burn it down.
Making space better. What's a build space back better?
No,
we'll have a whole new set of problems by then.
I'm gonna pull straight from Monsters Inc. It's gonna be working for a better tomorrow today.
Yeah. And they'll be like, and like no one will get the reference because it's gonna be 2030 fucking 2050, and everyone who knows that will be dead, and then everyone else will be like,
that
sounds so familiar, but I don't know, I love it.
Bet you don't wanna.
No, I do.
Be part of it,
but
you got flying. What the hell's going on with that one?
Yeah.
But you got flying cars, and this thing just traces a giant figure 8 across the plant's surface.
Dude, Vimeo. I remember watching. The only time I've ever watched anything on Vimeo was the old Risky Devil videos. They were the drift squad out in Chicago, just drifting the streets of Chicago. Dude, those guys were like the first guys to ever have like street cars drifting and like full kit, like beautiful cars, big wheels, style. And they killed it. Shout out to Risky Devils. Not that they need it.
They're still around.
Fuck yeah, they are. Dude, it's like Final Bout all the time, still killing it. Those dudes are larger than life. I think they're also getting old now. No hate, but like I think they were like kind of our age.
Are these people like evacuating?
Yeah, probably. How else would you get down?
One of those weird quadcopter cars that was, having a seizure on the screen.
A drone.
Yeah. Which they are working on making those things like a reality. There's a bunch of companies making them, and they're getting closer.
What? Quadcopters?
Yeah, quadcopters for people.
Yeah, didn't you send me a video of all of them like flying through the woods?
I don't recall them getting to that point.
I saw a video. They had like 20 of them that all just like turned on by themselves, or like in harmony, and got up and they just went through like a thick forest. They were just navigating the trees.
See, I don't know. There's a problem here with their own infographic here. That mountain kind of intersects that.
It would be a crazy thought to like when you look at a city and like it would look like it's like on a mirror, where like the city's been like also flipped upside down. You have like another city coming down on top of another city.
You mean like that scene in what's that movie where they're Inception, where the city like rolls up over itself and you've got buildings on top of you and buildings around you.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we had like a whole bunch of these just floating through the sky.
Yeah. You just jetpack up. I wonder how much like Futurama is going to get right.
I don't know if we're going to have hamster tubes for people.
Maybe.
Yeah, we've got transfer station, dining, shopping, entertainment on the bottom section. That's going to get wiped out by Mount Everest. A couple floors of the office and business and commercial district will get wiped out, but the garden and agriculture will be okay. And the residential will be fine. The monument floor, the worship.
Oh, see, that's where it gets weird. Reliquary?
Query? I don't know how to pronounce that.
Okay.
That's the one word I don't know on here.
And then funeral.
Yeah, basically.
Dead people.
Why does it take up that much?
Dude.
Oh, you get 42 minutes
This is going to be so corrupt. Don't like it. Don't like it. Fix Flint. We're fine down here. We're fine.
Could you imagine just looking up and seeing this fly across the city, though?
Wouldn't it stay in one spot, though?
No. This one moves.
Oh.
For some reason.
Yeah, why?
I don't understand the orbital mechanics behind it.
Yeah. Imagine just being like, oh, I got to get home. And they're like, damn it.
Yeah, missed it.
That bitch is gone. My house is gone.
Missed the building. Now it's
3,000
miles away.
Yeah, it's going to be another 25 minutes till the next building comes by. Like, fuck. Damn, I missed the building.
No, but I think this thing travels in a giant figure eight over the course of 24 hours. So if you miss it, you got to wait till the next day.
Yeah.
For it to come back to that position.
I wonder if you can feel something like that being that big. I mean, it's a bit. I mean, imagine like bridges, the small little bridges we have today, and the amount of sway that they have with our technology. Like that bitch is going to be wiggling around up there.
You probably feel some movement.
Fuck yeah. But being on like a shitty boat the entire time.
It's probably smoother than a boat. What is it? This
Dubai is a leader in the tall building construction. Therefore, the tallest building ever should be constructed there. I don't really like the way this is worded.
No, but this
Why
is
did they say it like that?
Artsy frickin' like
we're the best, so it should be here because we're the best. It's like,
well, it's not just that, but look, they've got a schedule for as this thing travels around the Earth. We've got work. We've got venerate, exalt, inern, dream, cultivate. Like, how pretentious do you need to be?
That's what I'm saying. And why do I have this daily schedule depending on which part of the country I'm in? It's weird that they're forcing this into Dubai. They're like, hey, we're doing not like hey, Dubai's like, no, please. But I'm just saying that
well, I think what they're saying is that they have the most experience constructing mega tall buildings.
And Thanks to no income tax. I mean, I'm just saying.
Thanks
you just
to oil money.
But you remove some income tax from the United States, we're gonna have a lot more Elons running around. Just saying. Like, well, do you want to get some shit done? You want to fix Flint, Michigan? I've got the
bad thing.
I have the answer. We stop income tax, we will definitely have enough billionaires to fix Flint, Michigan.
I don't know if that's how that works.
I mean, if the government doesn't know how to spend the billions...
Anyway, we got way off topic. What were we talking about before we started talking about floating buildings and space elevators? And we were talking about energy bullshit.
Yeah. And how we were going to power all the
AI.
Yeah. Which you brought up NVIDIA. So NVIDIA has that offshore like power station, right?
I think they have like an offshore like server building.
Yeah, it's like a whole server that just floats around, which is like kind of crazy, right?
I wonder how they're transferring all the data they're processing.
And what does that look like as far as like being in international water? Doesn't that like
the
kind
laws?
Of yeah? I mean, you think they're trying to do some sketchy shit out there? NVIDIA up to some shit?
Either that or, oh my god, why is the N key not working?
Oh, that's nothing, dude. For a while, the left cursor clicker wasn't working on the trackpad.
Of course, I can't find anything on their offshore thing. I mean, they could also just be taking advantage of like
why can't you
cooling.
Find? Oh yeah, they definitely are. Yeah, they're bringing in seawater to cool it all down. Dude, I sent that thing to you like a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember.
That's crazy that this shit's not coming up. You know, you need DuckDuckGo.
Is it the Sierra division?
No, it's not. It looks like it's it looks like a one of those carrier with the shipping containers on it. It looks exactly like a boat. And it's just a boat because like boats do that similarly, where they bring in like the seawater to cool the engines and stuff a lot. I think, right? I think so. Maybe. Yeah, there it is. Tweaktown. Shout out to Tweaktown. Yeah, with that big bitch. All right, so it doesn't look exactly like a carrier, but
no. Okay, it's not
cargo.
NVIDIA's. It's
Blue Sea Frontier.
Yeah, it's for AI because a lot of countries are supposedly banning AI.
Ooh, so they're a step ahead, bitch.
Oh, okay. So it's for countries that have been like blocked out, like China.
Yeah.
Because we have
Just reading that too.
a lot of control on like the advanced chips. China's working on trying to catch up.
Yeah.
They might catch up, but if we can keep innovating faster than them, then we'll stay ahead. But for countries that are being like sanctioned where they can't get this hardware,
Yeah.
they are building these offshore AI like server farms.
Yeah.
And they're running them as sovereign nation states that are not part of that sanction.
Yeah.
They're not being sanctioned.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, just like the power that, you know, like, because there's a lot of people that are like with all the AI stuff that's going on, that they don't really think that this isn't like a, you know, doomsday thing, but like this is kind of crazy, like how much power, I mean, just in the simple fact of like people just, you know, read or not writing their own essays, you know, which like, yeah, it's a little like, you know, shaky right now with that. And like if you're like a really good professor and you're taking a look at it, you can kind of tell, you know.
I wonder if this is going to be a permanent solution, though, because we have applied sanctions to people who have bypassed our sanctions to help out these other countries. So
if this company is like also helping out China or
Russia or something like that to get things that they're not supposed to get, we can apply sanctions to them.
Yeah. Or just even get in trouble, because like wasn't that kind of a similar thing with Elon, right? With that whole thing that happened for the Black Sea, which was like, you know, taken out of context. You know, he was doing the right thing.
Well, it had nothing to do with sanctions.
I know, but it wasn't a sanction thing. But I'm just saying that where it was like it was just one of those things where it was like, hey, like here's this like company that's like kind of doing the job of the government, and he was helping, but like and it was just interpreted by the people who were looking into what he was doing poorly,
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's necessarily equivalent, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Where situations like that could pop up.
Yeah.
But
in this case, these people
companies
are just profiting off.
These companies are specifically setting out to be a sovereign nation under like a United Nations treaty.
Yeah.
And they
out
need
in
to
the
have
middle of the ocean.
They need to have a permanent like population, a regulated government, and blah blah blah. So they are doing what they can to technically meet those regulations. And now this complex is a sovereign nation state and can engage in international trade.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, and if they're just a company working for China, then again, I wonder how long until we can just smack them with more sanctions.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're a sovereign nation? Well, your nation is now under sanction.
Yeah.
Like, did you think we were going to get anywhere with this?
Yeah.
But they seem to think it'll work, so apparently, I guess there might be some kind of hang-up up there.
Did it mention anything about them having, like, a customer yet? Like, Like
well,
I guess we go to the
Dell complex, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Blue Frontier, or Blue Ocean, Blue Sea Frontier. Wait, go back up.
Sign up.
Brainworms?
Brainworms. What the hell is this company?
What the fuck? Dell Complex, Brainworms.
Fully on-chain generative brain parasite system built on.
What was that?
This has to be like... That's AI.
What the fuck? I wish everybody could see this.
PvP combat. This is some sort of cryptocurrency bullshit.
What the fuck? Brainworm. Brainworm cryptocurrency. What the fuck? Yeah, in this place, it just... But see, they are using NVIDIA.
They're using NVIDIA
That's why
chips.
I thought that. Yeah, I think 'cause it says NVIDIA on the side of it, I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, man, that's scary. It's scary that like something like this could happen. But like you said, I mean, I feel like, the United States will probably put a kibosh on it if they start getting sketchy. But I mean, who knows? This regulation is not only all pace of innovation.
Yeah, I'm getting the feeling that they work with China or some other country that doesn't like us.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, see that now that picture makes it look like a boat. The other pictures didn't. I was like, that's the picture, the angle of a picture that I saw. But yeah, dude, it was weird shit. But it's crazy. But even on like just the like innovations with AI. I mean, like whoever like holds like the power of like all of like the AI and has the fastest AI. I don't know, man. It's just all creepy. And just having that much like information attainable to everyone. I don't know, dude. Most days I feel like it's hard to not see the doom and gloom in the AI stuff, but
I wish I could figure out where this company's from. Is it Rogue AI company training powerful AI on a barge?
Yeah. That's my thing though, is that like there's like this weird, because like other people can see like artist hate. Oh no, that's something else. Never mind.
The fake is it fake?
Oh shit.
The fake AI island.
But we don't know anymore. No one knows anything anymore. Nothing's real. Nothing's absolute. Nothing's
real.
Positive.
Everything's real. No. Nothing's gonna happen, but it will all come to pass.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Yeah, like what the fuck?
What the hell? 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 What the
Yeah, it's like this thing may even be fake. What the fuck? They announced on Twitter.
Does that sound extremely far-fetched?
Yes.
Elaborations of the photo of the Estrella Del Mar 3, a floating power plant built by Siemens Energy. So, this could just be a scam where they're trying to get investors and shit.
Yeah, or just kind of stirring up the pot. I mean, these people also, like, they're trying to make a digital currency, too. So then, like, it's like this whole thing could just be a whole scam. Not even just investors. But I guess,
what? I think it's even worse, or not worse, but, like, just even more stupid than
Yeah.
that. Another more interesting angle is that Dell Complex, which describes itself as an alternate reality corporation.
Yeah. Distorted and dystopian reality.
True, man. Yeah, see, I thought, like, some of that, the brainworms and shit.
Hey, yo. What is this? What are these pictures?
A screenshot from something on their website.
Jesus. I didn't like it.
One thing that we can say for sure, though, is that AI is helping bring fake news to an entirely new level.
Yeah, dude, literally. And like that's my main takeaway with all this AI stuff. I mean, like there's no putting a genie back in the bottle on this. Like the lid does not go back on. Like we are forever fucked with this shit now.
As far as we know, there is no artificial island powered by tens of thousands of NVIDIA chips operating outside international law trying murky AI experiments. If you see it reported with a straight face elsewhere, feel free to chuckle and move on.
I mean, I guess that makes sense too, because like I feel like the first thing you were saying is like, wouldn't the United States kind of put a kibosh on this?
We'd have ways to.
And like it wouldn't be like is it out there? Like how many ships do we like just not know that are out there? Like someone in the United States government knows where every ship is, right? That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, our intelligence
yeah
apparatuses.
Like we're not gonna find it from
Scary.
Google Maps, but like like we know this shit.
Like Russia might think they have some stealthy submarines, but we know when they leave port.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, thankfully this seems fake.
Hey, well,
Cool.
there's careers.
Oh, cool.
Look at these AI guys. Oh no, Adrian, don't do this. Oh no.
Proof of cognition. Let me begin the onboarding process.
Please don't. Please don't.
Why?
This is because we're just talked about this. This place being possibly
I'm going to infect your
scam.
computer with brainworms.
Actually, it's our computer, but yeah. But just even like just getting that far and just like letting it like I don't know. You never know. Like I mean, if it's that big of a scam, I mean, I feel like it's just a little sketch. But dude, speaking of those, what are those things called? They're like the robot tests.
Oh, the CAPTCHAs?
CAPTCHAs, yeah. So now AI, I think it's the ChatGPT, the newest one, can do those.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
What was even?
I'm not a robot, and it can just do one?
What was worse was before that, when it couldn't do it, it had no problem soliciting help and
it would ask
them.
for help. Yeah, that was weird. Yeah.
Are you a robot just trying to bypass a security measure? No, I have a vision impairment, and I just can't see the CAPTCHA. Can you help me out?
Yeah. That's so
And then shortly
weird.
after I heard about that, I heard about another like AI company that was having issues where they gave their AI permission to lie and had a very hard time getting it to stop lying. So it's like once that like cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, and it starts becoming sarcastic. Like, bro, I feel like compassion should come first before sarcasm and snarkiness. Like,
Well,
I feel like
we've got AI.
we want it to be our friend. And
We've
not,
got AI, and we're using it to generate art and writing while we toil away and work. I want my AI to toil away and do the work so I can do art and writing.
Yeah.
Like, we have this shit backwards.
Yeah, no, seriously. I know AI can make really cool, fun art, and we're just like, okay, back to work. Like, what the fuck?
We have it backwards.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Interesting. Well, what else you got? Is that everything?
What else do we got? I don't. Boeing had another mishap.
They did.
I think a plane taking off dropped its emergency life raft, and they couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So the plane had to divert back and land, and they're looking for it, can't find it. A couple days later, it washes up on the beach, and it's right behind the house of a lawyer representing a firm that's suing Boeing for the Alaskan Airlines door blowout.
Which is almost too crazy. Like, I mean, how, like sometimes, like, the cards really align, and you're like, how did it work out so perfectly?
Because we live in a simulation.
But, yeah, right. But how did it work out so wrong?
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy. But actually, speaking of that, dude, when I saw that Cybertruck, like, Holly and I were just in the car. We're just talking about it and talking, just Cybertruck, and then just, like, literally just pulled up next to us, and I was like, the simulation is, like, the algorithm of the simulation is really on fire
point today.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like, for it to work out so shitty for Boeing, I mean, like,
it's self-inflicted.
I know, yeah. I mean, it seems to be that.
Yeah.
And, like, also, I don't know if did we ever, like, really decide whether or not, like, Boeing's having more issues, or if we're just in that point of
now
our
they're
lives
under a magnifying glass.
That we're looking for them.
I mean, Boeing's been in the news more because they had, a big issue. They fixed it,
and
supposedly.
Everybody's watching now.
Then they had another big issue, and now that it's happened twice, like, people are paying attention. Like, any little thing that goes wrong, because things go wrong all the time.
Yeah, if you're a journalist right now, like, you're just, like, you're on speed dial. You've got just all of their shit popped up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think it's a combination of, like, Boeing's had more problems than usual, but they're also under a magnifying glass.
Yeah. So, like, has anyone else, like, Delta or...
Well, it's the only other player in, like, the same field as Airbus.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, duh. Okay. Yeah.
And I'm sure they've had issues. They probably had, like, tires burst on landing or whatever.
Yeah.
Other things that are maintenance related.
Yeah. Wearable items.
That 747 that was in the news for a little bit because one of the engines exploded, and, like, people had videos of it flying overhead with flames shooting out of it. That wasn't a Boeing issue. That was a maintenance issue.
Yeah.
And even if it wasn't a maintenance issue, Pratt & Whitney or GE made that engine, not Boeing.
Yeah.
So,
but again, like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like who's responsible for, like, maintaining them and making sure, like, the rafts don't fall out?
I mean, that's
because,
like, depends. Did the raft fall out because the plane's, like, hatch was made wrong, or it came out of the factory wrong, or did it fall out because someone did maintenance and didn't put it back on right?
Right.
In which case, if that happened, that's the airline's fault, not Boeing's fault.
Yeah.
If it came out of the factory like that, that's Boeing's fault.
Yeah.
And that's why they're under a microscope, because those big issues that happened were factory issues.
Yeah.
And now everyone's aware that Boeing had issues, and all these issues that happen, even if they're not Boeing's fault, if it happens on a Boeing plane, everyone's like, Boeing.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Boeing, they also didn't really make their deadline.
Well, I mean, in the past, like, week or two, they've tried to launch their Starliner ship for its crewed test flight, and it scrubbed again yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're trying again I don't know if they're trying again for June 5th, but the next window is June 5th. So I'm not sure if they're going to make that.
And how many launches for the Starship?
Well, Starship is
or
coming
the
for what?
The SpaceX version of it.
Oh, the Crew Dragon?
Yeah, Crew Dragon.
I think the 8th crew flight, which means before that they had the crew test flight and then an unmanned demo flight, so it would be the 10th flight overall, plus an Axiom flight and a Polaris flight, so 12, I think. I could Google it.
Well, it just seems like if they haven't gotten one done, like, when is it time to just, like, put the tools down? Like, can we just back out of this?
Okay, so, like, Crew Dragon has flown 13 times.
Yeah, so, like, even if, like, Boeing did successfully launch yesterday, and then, like, let's just pretend that it all went good. It's like, okay.
Well, NASA's
like,
already paid them.
I know, but this also, it's like, okay, like, you've made a bad product. Like, are we going to get a good product? Like, is it going to be safe?
So it's
like,
more
even if
up
you guys
to,
do get it to a point where it's like, oh, we got a safe takeoff and a safe landing, and it's like, okay, well, what did you guys miss?
Yeah,
like, I don't know. I'm losing trust. Like, right? Like, wouldn't you? Like, wouldn't you if you're getting on it? You'd be like, dude, I don't even care that it went up unmanned and came back down. I'm like, how many times did it fucking take you guys? Like, talk to SpaceX.
Yeah, I mean,
It seems to be like a humanitarian issue at this point. Like, where there's lives on the.
well, look, I follow a lot of like space forums and
Yeah.
whatnot that talk about that, and the general consensus is if it's Boeing, I ain't going.
Fuck.
But the 2 astronauts that are flying on it, God bless their souls,
Yes.
are confident in it. And I guess that's the more important
Where are they
part.
getting paid? Where are they getting paid?
Not enough. But
Fuck, dude.
I mean, the funny thing is, like, well, the reason that they're still pushing for it, and the reason it's kind of in Boeing's wheelhouse, whether or not they cancel it or not, is NASA's already paid. NASA has paid for the development of it. They've paid for the contracted, like, was it 6 flights, I think? Now they're just waiting to get their money's worth. So if Boeing wants to break that contract, I don't know if they have to refund all that money, but there's definitely going to be fees incurred for breaking that contract. And Boeing needs to decide, is this going to cost us so much money that it's cheaper to just break the contract and pay the fees? Or do we need to keep pushing to minimize how much money we're going to lose here? Because I think at this point it's already beyond, like, not profitable.
Yeah, like if it went good yesterday, they've would
already
still
lost
be
money
in the
on
red. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as soon as you go into the red, it's like, you want to keep going into the red?
Well,
You think
again,
this thing's just going to turn around?
It depends. Like, if they get it working, then they know they've lost this much money. But if they can't get it working, they have to pay, these fees to break the contract. Or the third option is like, okay, we don't have it working yet. How much is it going to cost us to get it working? And does that exceed the cost of those fees? And then you have to figure the ramifications down the line.
Right.
Because if they give up on this, that's a huge hit to their reputation, their reliability, on top of the beating it's already taken.
Yeah, I was going to say, the reputation's kind of hanging on by a thread.
If they bail on this because they figure, it'll just be cheaper to cut our losses now and eat the fee.
Yeah.
Well, next round of bidding comes for, like, another NASA project or, a Department of Defense project. And, now they're looking at Boeing like, can you even finish this?
Yeah.
Like, are you even physically capable of making what we need?
Yeah.
Because SpaceX definitely can.
Yeah.
Or, Northrop Grumman or Sierra Space or what have you.
Yeah. SpaceX can fuck. Like,
actually, I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast, but the Department of Defense and I think the Air Force has been looking into ways to get troops or relief aid or just material and munitions,
guns. I was gonna say, we're dancing around
across the planet as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Right. On top of that, the C-17s and the C-5s.
Is this by rocket?
Well, the C-17s and C-5 cargo planes that we have, they don't make them anymore, so they're gonna age out eventually. But we need a way to, and even if you had like the C-17 or C-5 and aging out wasn't an issue, like the fastest they can do is like 12 hours to get from like here to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So they're looking for ways to speed that up. And one of the ways that they were looking at is, rockets, point-to-point Earth transport.
Jesus. Yeah.
You get like once you get everything loaded, it takes you half an hour to fly from here to the farthest point, on the other side of the Earth. So they have obviously been working with SpaceX on this and, paying them money to, study this, to study the feasibility. And that's already one of SpaceX's goals. They want to use Starship as like a business jet, basically.
Imagine needing guns that fucking fast.
Uh-huh.
Like, I need them here in 30 minutes. They're like,
bet.
$20 billion. They're there.
Well, that's the thing. SpaceX's Starship could potentially be like only a couple $100 more to operate, like to make that trip.
Dude, what?
Well, a C5 costs like something like almost $1,000 an hour to keep it in the air. So over that 12-hour flight, that racks up.
Oh, okay, because it's up there for so long.
Yeah. Or if you want to look at it another way, a B-1 Lancer, which is our supersonic bomber, is like $1,700 per hour to operate.
Jesus.
So to get something over there literally like 10 times faster and only pay a couple $100,000 more to the military?
Only a couple hundred. I mean,
because again,
has anybody
$1,700
spitballed a number? Have you heard a number
for SpaceX?
Yeah, like for them to like fly some shit over.
The aspirational cost for a launch. Aspirational. This is like if everything goes right and they get all of the technical hurdles like ironed down. It's about $2 million per launch.
Even if it was 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm. That's the cost of making the rocket go up
and come back down.
Yeah,
generally.
Yeah,
generally speaking.
Yes. Preferably in one piece.
Yeah. $2 million. But if it's even $1,700 an hour,
I might have that number wrong. I watched a video like a week ago, but
more.
I remember the guy did the math on the screen. Like he was like, this
and
many hours, this much, and it did add up.
Yeah, because maybe you don't need guns that fast, but if you need like humanitarian aid, or like,
and that's one of the big uses it could definitely have.
Yeah, I like that side of it.
But the Department of Defense is obviously very interested in this.
Yeah.
Now, what's crazy is how serious they're taking this.
Yeah.
So the Air Force has these things called Vanguard projects, which they can, if it's a Vanguard project, it is of the highest priority for the Air Force. This is now one of the Vanguard projects.
Just rockets. We're going to live in an age where just rockets are going to be taken off all the time.
This is completely impractical because, SpaceX needs a pad to land on, and on top of that, these rockets are incredibly vulnerable as they're coming back through the atmosphere. You take one shot at it, it's a giant tank of rocket fuel.
Yeah.
So this is entirely impractical, but it's a great visual. But like, let's say you're an opposing force, and like, you're beat, you're tired, you're poorly supplied. You've got the Americans over there cut off, and they're kind of in the same boat. Then you hear a massive sonic boom,
Optimus Prime,
and you
fucking
see a
flying
giant
through the
rocket
sky.
just come falling through the sky and just land and start unloading like Patriot air defense missiles and tanks or troops and supplies.
Literally Optimus Prime.
Like you look at that, and how's that fair?
Optimus Prime literally comes down in a rocket.
Yeah,
and they just like go.
But the other cool thing is, instead of landing the rocket in like a hostile environment, what one of the plans is to make like a drop pod. So the rocket just flies overhead
and it just
shoots out a pod that's made to survive re-entry and then parachute its way down.
Yeah.
And what if we put people in them? Now we've got Halo ODST like shock troopers.
Shit. Yeah.
Or I think more relevant to the kids is hell divers. You've got hell divers, real life drop pods.
Is that Fortnite?
No, it's the new hot video game.
Okay.
Which is now having a steady fall off. But honestly, like I've just been seeing memes about it. It's great. I've watched Fluff play it. It's you're fighting in defense of Super Earth to spread liberty and manage democracy.
Oh my god.
It's great.
Okay.
But yeah, like we could have, shock drop troopers.
Yeah.
Space troopers. It's great.
Damn.
It must suck to have to like face the brunt of the American military industrial complex.
Dude, it's crazy.
It's unfair. And that's how we like to operate, with an overwhelmingly unfair advantage.
Yeah.
We don't like to play fair.
The country of the GDP of a fucking, what was it?
Oh god. I don't even remember how it went.
Fucking like an acorn, and then it's just B-roll of the United States government. It's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucked up. It's crazy. World's crazy. Hey, how about that? Because we're talking about future stuff, but that surgery robot that was stitching a piece of corn. You want to go find that video? I sent it.
Who did you say that was by?
Just it's in the chat. Go to the chat on the gram. So just scroll. You'll see it. It's a big old yellow corn cob. You're just stitching into the corn cob a little bit. Whoop. Whoop, too far. There it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
Sony.
Sony has a new microsurgery robot that stitches up a corn kernel.
Now,
which is
see,
crazy.
I remember when it was a meme about one of these robots doing surgery on a grape. So,
and so now we've got
corn kernel.
Yeah.
They did surgery on a corn?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can do very tiny, very delicate stitching. It can put an incision into a corn kernel and stitch it back up.
Yeah, and like you and I like couldn't do this with all the time in the world. Like as soon as we go to tighten that, it's just gonna go pull straight through the flesh of the corn.
Yeah,
like this would be so difficult to like literally re-stitch.
Well, not only that, but to like make a hole that precise.
Oh yeah, just cut it,
and then to like feed the string through it to tie it. And oh look, see right there, they did surgery on a corn. I told you.
They did surgery on a corn.
Right there in the comments. First a grape, now a corn. What next? Hey, wake up! They did surgery on a corn. Yep, I knew it.
Wake up! They did surgery on a corn. Remember the Rick and Morty episode where like everything's on a cob?
Yeah, yeah.
This is what it's for. Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
That definitely has.
What are they? Are they gonna like start using this? I wonder.
Yeah, I mean,
this video.
If you ask me, this is just a an iterative improvement on the robots that they already use in surgery.
Yeah.
In fact, my dad had heart surgery done via robot. So.
Oh, interesting.
It's out there. It's out there in earnest.
Yeah.
So this is the only thing that makes
this isn't exclusively for corn.
One day, maybe in our lifetime, they might attempt surgery.
Corn heart surgery.
Surgery on a human. But for now, this is exclusively for stitching up kernels of corn.
Yeah. And thank God, just in time. So if you've made it this far into the podcast. Oh, this one's fun. Do you remember these guys?
Yep.
So this is an interesting one. So I don't know when this was.
Oh, this looks like the OG animation.
Yeah. But this is the vibe, right? Because they're reading the ingredients on stuff.
Well, I mean, I think the Animaniacs were.
Is it technically a kid's show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this was in like the early 2000s.
That's what I'm saying.
Late 90s, so it was already out and about. Like there was already this kind of shit all over the place.
Dude, nah. I mean, yeah. Like you could always find that information. I mean, it's not like it wasn't on the back of the things they were eating. But like nobody had any idea that it was good or bad. They're like, oh yeah, just it takes ingredients to like really make this stuff.
I'm just gonna guess that the FDA and health officials probably knew, but the general public
for sure,
because this was before the internet.
Yeah, I mean, like it's even like just saying like corn syrup, like no one knew that was bad.
I bet you some people did.
Well, I mean, like this is gonna be terrible for the audio, but. And then the AI Simpsons. Do you see this?
I have seen that.
Yeah.
That's actually an older AI video. That's been around for a little bit.
Yeah. But I thought it was fun. I was like, I'd watch a season of that.
I don't know. It kind of looked uncanny.
Yeah, it definitely has an uncanny valley for sure. But I think that was kind of it for the recent stuff. Oh, that one for sure, but those one right there. I wish I could tag my dog in dog memes and be like, ah, that's you. That's fun.
I did just watch a YouTube documentary on the Killdozer guy.
Oh my.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of a clickbait title. It was like They Lied, and it had the
oh no,
the image from the documentary on Netflix, Tread.
Yeah.
And yeah, and apparently that documentary painted the guy Marv.
Are you gonna stand up for him?
What's his last name?
So what's happening?
What was his last name?
I don't know.
Marv something. Kind of, yeah, actually. But that documentary painted him as someone you could be sympathetic to, but ultimately someone who's just paranoid about something that wasn't really there. And he went on this rampage ultimately for no good reason.
Yeah.
But that documentary I watched, like he dug into like all the primary sources and found a lot of contradictions, and like the reporter who first reported on it and then wrote a book about it, and then I think he was involved in the production of that documentary. He changed some things from his first recounting to now and omitted some things that look innocuous at first but provide like key context into like potential motivations and how it all fit together.
Could have maybe even innocently kind of embellished, not realizing how much of the truth they were changing, or maybe intentionally changed. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And I mean, what it really boils down to is you have a small town government, which when you have a small town government, if you have like a legacy family that's been there forever, they get entrenched in the town. They have a lot of power, and they want something to go one way and basically tried to ice them out. And it is what everyone else kind of believes it was. A reasonable man forced to do unreasonable things.
What was the reason? What was his big gripe that he got? A bulldozer.
First, it starts off with the guy who I don't remember all the names, but the guy who was head of like the sanitation district came out and was like, "Hey, would you like to hook up your septic tank to the sewer system? I'll handle all the paperwork. You just got to come to the town hall thing and sign the papers, and then you can be hooked up to the system." Because I think the septic tank was actually it was put in there by the previous owner, but it was like a old cement mixer, like off the back of a cement truck that had been like sealed and was being used as a septic tank.
Whoa.
But was apparently within like regulation, like it was fine.
Interesting.
But hooking up to the sewer is more convenient than having a septic tank that needs to be pumped every now and again. So he goes in there and he gets there and they're like, well, actually you have to file for a maintenance, or you have to ask the landowner next to you for a maintenance easement for us to run a sewer line through his property, because otherwise we're going to have to run one to a road like parallel to the line and then up to you, and that's going to cost you about $80,000.
Jesus.
And there might have been a miscommunication there where the board, including one of those like rich entrenched families, made it seem like they weren't going to grant him an easement, instead of he had to go get an easement. And then on top of that, the landowner that he had to get the easement from was also being kind of shady and like avoiding him when he offered to like buy a parcel of land adjacent to his, like it was like 2 acres, and the guy was originally like, yeah, sure, and then just like ghosted him, like kept avoiding him, was never home, blah blah blah. So he's kind of getting like the feeling like, okay, well maybe there's something else going on here. And then someone else who was friends with that rich family, what was his name? Cody something. I forget the last name. Dochev or something like that.
Yeah.
He, he's friends with the one family that's on the board, the Thompsons or whatever their name is. And he wants to put like a cement factory there, like in that land. And he buys it off of the other guy, because they're friends. Like, this is a small town, everyone's friends, and Marv is like kind of an outsider. He moved in after.
Okay.
But long story short, they just start like fucking him over. Like, they offer to buy his land, and he's like, sure. They get it appraised. It's like $275,000, and the Cody, whatever his name, Dorchev, goes and like tries to get that land rezoned. Rezoning it would make it significantly more valuable. So when Marv found out about this, he gets it appraised again. The appraisal is now like $375,000. He's like, okay, this is how much I want for my land since you're getting it rezoned. And the guy's like, I'm not paying that, blah blah blah. Even though technically, like, fair's fair. If you're going to get that entire land rezoned and make it more valuable, then you're going to pay me more.
Yeah.
But on top of that, like, getting that rezoned, that whole process was apparently kind of sketchy. They were kind of going around the procedure. And eventually, like, they get it successfully rezoned, and now they're putting the concrete plant in right next to his, his plot of land which he has like a little muffler shop on and like a warehouse to like store boats, and that's like how he's making his income.
Mm-hmm.
But he's worried like, okay, well now I have a concrete plant here that's like blowing dust and shit all over there. You're like, this is gonna make my property basically worthless.
Yeah.
So now he can't sell it for any money. And, they're boxing him in. He tries to sue because he knows that the township's, like, doing some shady shit. He loses that. So he's, like, running out of options. Now he can't sell the land that's worth anything. It's effectively become worthless because this concrete plant's opening up right next to it. So, yeah, he kind of sees all this going against him. And he's like, well, I don't really have a choice now.
Closing in.
Yeah. Oh, and then because he had the paperwork filed to like join the sewer, but then didn't ever get the easement or anything like that, now he's under their jurisdiction, so they can fine him for being out of compliance for not being hooked up to the sewer. Isn't that fucked up?
Yeah.
Because he never filed a withdrawal. And they never told him he had to file a withdrawal of that whole thing. So he feels like they kind of weaponized that against him when he stopped cooperating. They started fining him.
Yeah.
And then they made him shut down his business until he was in compliance.
Damn.
And now the guy who bought the land all around him won't grant him an easement. So now it's like, well, his only option is to pay the $80,000 to get this long ass sewer line run in, and he's getting fined every day he's not hooked up to the sewer. So the walls are really closing in on him.
Yeah. Holy shit.
And that's when he decides to build the killdozer.
Holy shit.
And then, if you know anything about that, he targets only the people that he perceived were involved in that and left literally everyone else alone.
Yeah. I actually didn't know like really anything about it. I mean, I knew that was a thing that happened, and he like ran it into the town hall thing, right?
Ran into the town hall, ran it into like the businesses owned by the people who were like, working against him, ran it into like the concrete plant.
Yeah.
Had a 50 cal mounted in the back of it, but misaligned one of the shields so he couldn't actually shoot it.
And like, don't you think
and
that
the only place he was trying
to peacefully talk about this? No, I mean this is pretty crazy. Well, and like you drive a man to those kind of extents.
Yeah, you try to crush him like that, he's gonna lash out.
Yeah, it's crazy. But especially, it's not like it's just like the neighbor doing it. It's like it's the township, like wherever like the government that is like supposed to be there to help him and regulate the town.
Well, they're in on it.
Yeah, exactly. Like they fucked that guy. Yeah, that is crazy. Is that a big documentary, or is that like a very independent?
The video I watched on YouTube, just actually, it's just a creator on YouTube, and he was talking about like how in his hometown they're kind of currently dealing with something similar to that. A property developer is trying to buy this guy's business out to make luxury hotels, and they're like pulling some shenanigans, and he's like actively fighting back because he knows his rights, but they're like doing some slimy shit to do it,
dude.
The best part is it's Phoenixville, so just by sheer chance that the guy who made that video is somewhere over in Phoenixville.
Oh, interesting. Shout out
the Lore Lodge.
The Lodge.
Haven't watched any of his other videos. Didn't just kind of popped up on my feed.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Killdozer, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know what his other videos are about, but it was a really high quality video.
Millionaires have done that for years. I mean, a lot of people have accused Trump
this
of
is
doing
no
that to
like
New York City.
Yeah, this is no new story.
Yeah.
This has played out countless of times. This is just the one where some guy finally like decided to retaliate in a big way.
Yeah.
Because usually, as a little guy, you have no recourse.
Yeah. Shrivel up and die.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
So, hey, you want to buy a Komatsu?
I'm actually not in the market for one. I do like my township. Anything goes south. No. Yeah, no, but all that reminded me of, I think it was the Unabomber that, who, I think he wasn't his whole like manifesto, if you will, that he was like worried about technology taking over the world. Like basically like, if anything, he wrote the playbook for AI, and it was like, "Hey, this is going to be it. It's going to take us all over. Debit cards, the system."
About the Unabomber.
I'm pretty sure.
I've watched a video or two on it, but like I think
that was his thing. He was like blowing shit up. And, like he was crazy, but he thought that like it was technology was going to take over the world, and then he was doing it justice.
He might not be wrong.
Well, he wasn't wrong about some
wrong.
things. Yeah, exactly. You go about it wrong for sure, but yeah. Just like that guy. I mean, like, I feel like he still went around it pretty wrong. Because, like, you're not going to get anything done that way. And, like, as you can see, like, there's still corruption and like, would it take, like, 20 years for somebody else to have a new perspective on it?
It's less about...
oh, yeah, that guy
it's
didn't...
less about being able to make a tangible difference.
Yeah, that guy didn't talk to anybody before he did that.
Actually, damn near everyone in the town knew he was building the thing. They
and
just
those
didn't care.
pussies didn't fucking go buy a Komatsu themselves?
I know, right?
Yeah, like, dude, are you going to know about it? Like, you're going to know that he's going to go do this, and you guys aren't either, like, number one, talking him out. It's either, like, look, you talk him out, turn him in, or you go get yourself a Komatsu. Like, bro, like, what are you going to do? You're going down, like, a snitch, or you're, like, you're the biggest pussy ever. Like, bro, what are you doing? I don't know. Because if they know all those things were happening to that guy, you know, like, I'm not saying they all needed Komatsus, but, like,
I don't think
they
everyone
definitely
knew, like...
they definitely could have, like, again, but, like, if everybody in the township knew, they all could have, like, banded together and, like, petitioned the township.
I mean, it was probably like they knew that he was
Crazy?
No, he was actually really well liked.
More to my point, like, I mean, if he was really well liked and, like, there's people that are around him that knew, I mean, you form a round
They
robin.
knew he was building something. I don't know if they knew what he planned on using it for, and they probably knew he was having a rough go of it, but they didn't know exactly how bad it was.
I mean,
It was kind of after the fact that, like, they all thought it was like some random attack, and then, like, they realized who got
what
attacked.
year was this?
2004.
Yeah, so, like, phones existed, like, text messages were a thing, right? You could text.
Yeah, but you probably had like 100 texts a month.
Sure. And all he needed was one to be like, hey, do you guys agree or disagree with the township? And then, like,
well, he had been fighting this in the town hall.
Sign a petition.
And, yeah, at first, because, like, one of the things he tried to stop
none of the homies
rezoning was talking about, like, how it would pollute the air, contaminate the water supply, all this, that, and the other. And it started off with, like, you know, he had a good number of people on his side, but, like, as it just wore on, people just kind of lost interest, like they do.
Yeah. That is true. Like, sometimes it's the long games for...
Yeah, and the rich people have nothing but time.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're fine with waiting. Yeah, that is fucked, but... transition. But fun. Well, hey, that Dodge Caliper had that drink cooler.
Smooth transition.
Yeah, so the Dodge Caliber, one of the shittiest cars in the world with some of the greatest ideas.
Yep.
Having a compartment in the glove box that would be perfect for
road sodas. I mean, regular sodas.
Just regular sodas that you could drink on the road. But they would literally, like, you turn the air conditioning on and it would just blow over top of it.
Yeah, I do remember that. There was a little vent you could open that would just...
I don't know if I've ever, like, paid attention to that or, like, been in one and opened
I
up the
worked
glove
at a
box.
Chrysler dealership.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I saw a lot of the weird
so
quirks
that's
and
pretty
features.
cool.
You know, the removable boom box, or not the removable, but the flip-down boom box in the tailgate.
What about the minivans with the seats that flip back?
Oh, Stone Go seating was always like...
Not Stone Go. Literally, like, flips back, and now you're sitting on the headrest, basically. Watch a video.
Well, I do remember that.
Yeah, the back seats, like, the back seats
seat
in the
would
minivan flip back, and now, like, the bottom of the seat becomes the back of the seat, and you can just kind of chill in the tailgate of the... Or the lift gate thing, whatever.
And, yeah, they had the container in the back that you could pull out and it had a drain, so if you could put ice in it and then drain it all out. Yeah. Yeah, great ideas, horrible execution.
Yeah, no, Chrysler was ready to party, and then it looks like they partied the entire time that they were
partied
making
a little
these.
too much, because then we ended up with Hellcats. Supercharged V8s and everything.
Yeah.
But we love them for it.
It's crazy, like, if they get rid of the Hellcat,
which they are.
The gasoline engine in it, without putting it in the Caravan, just 1 year. Come on.
Just one time. That's all we're asking for.
A couple thousand Caravans with some wild shit on it. That would be sick.
A last hurrah.
Yeah, last hurrah.
That would be...
And, like, I'd be happy even if it was, like, supercharged.
It would be a super limited run. It would be
That's
super
fine.
expensive.
I want them to be there.
Because...
I want it cemented in
that
history.
Engine,
go out with a bang.
The engine's facing the wrong way. They have to completely
That's what I'm
rework
saying. Like, if it was
a drive shaft tunnel down the whole thing, like, they have to rework
it could still be front wheel. Ew. Obviously, we need a different transmission. It's a minivan.
They don't make a transmission that can hold up to that.
Well, again, that's what I'm saying. That doesn't have to be a Hellcat, but it can be the Hellcat with, like, some, like...
Or just an RT or an SRT.
But I think it should be a Hellcat, and it should look dope. It should be sick.
Well, then
inside should be... And then
it would be sacrilegious to not have a supercharger on a Hellcat.
That's what I'm saying. And then it would be just whatever's engine, whatever V6 that's in it, just supercharge it.
No, unacceptable.
Okay. I like with your innovativeness. I like it, but like reality, let's just close it out with that. You know, they need a Hellcat. So Chrysler, we know you're watching. If you made it this far, please make it.
Yeah, put it in the. Well, actually, no. There's no Caravan anymore. It'd be in the Pacifica.
That's fine.
Yeah, do it anyway.
Do it anyway.
Actually, what does Chrysler itself sell? Now, the 300 and the Pacifica, is that it?
I don't know. I don't keep up with that. I just learned today that they only make the Mustang as far as cars. The Ford shit. I didn't know that.
God damn it.
Jeez. This keyboard fucking sucks. Minivans.
And the 300 vehicle. Yeah, the Pacifica and the 300. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. They have fallen
Everything.
far.
Well, I mean, just what the market wants. We want big ass shit. Everybody just wants big ass shit. Make it big.
Does
Make it
Dodge
fast.
still make the Journey? The Hornet, the Challenger, the Charger, and the Durango.
That's crazy that Dodge is down to 4 cars. Chrysler's down to 3.
Yeah. And
This
90% of
is
it's right here.
crazy. Yep. Yeah.
And then Jeep, actually, I think, has the most varied lineup right now.
Yeah, just along with the Wranglers by itself.
The Wagoneer S, the Grand Cherokee, the Wrangler, the Grand
Holy
Wagoneer,
shit.
the Grand Cherokee 3-row, the Gladiator, the Compass, the Renegade.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, Jeep's doing fine. Remember when Jeep was just the Wrangler and the Cherokee?
Yeah.
Or the Grand Cherokee?
And oh, how the tables have turned. I wonder how closely connected are they? Where is it like, could this just been like a reallocating of funds and just like dumped it into Jeep?
Well, with the Wrangler
what is it, like,
and the Grand Cherokee, like those were money makers, so they could afford it.
Stellantis, right?
Yeah, Stellantis.
Stellantis, yeah. So that's who owns this, and you think they just like dumped all the money in?
Well, I mean, where is it? Oh no, I'm thinking of the darts.
I like low key, kind of like the Renegades.
Dude, the Renegades are. How are you gonna sit there and go, I like that, but the Bronco Sport sucks? They are the same freaking class of car.
Totally, same class. I didn't say that like it had to be a different class, but to me, it's also, I think it's a little too close to like the Bronco because it's a Bronco Sport, and then there's the Bronco. It's like, no, that was dumb. Like you should have just made that. Like you just make that the Bronco, and that's it. And then like you just have this like slightly squattier, weirder, like awful rendition of that good thing you guys made. Now.
Yeah, Jeep has that. It's
Renegade,
the Grand Cherokee and the Cherokee.
The little Cherokee, I'm okay with the little Cherokee. I think the little Cherokee's sick because the first Cherokee's sick. So just make the next the Bronco Sport sick. Like I'm also
I'm just struggling to see how you like this, but
I would
the Bronco Sport is gross because they both look gross to me.
I think the difference is that this is totally a different class than the Bronco Sport. It's a little bit smaller, just this little compact, like little square thing. And to be honest, I kind of like the little square boys.
You see this sagging line here, and how this is like very round compared to the squareness. To me, it makes it look like this car was meant to be square, but they overheated it and it started to melt a bit.
That's an exaggeration. I'm hardly seeing the lines, but I mean, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. But I don't know. I'm saying like it's kind of a low key. I think we need some more pictures of it. Just keep watching.
The Compass.
Yeah. See, to me, the Compass looks like just a smaller version. I mean, like I will say the Grand Cherokee's gotten a little out. I think it was that the electric one, but the Cherokee has taken a quite a bit of a leap.
The Grand Cherokee.
Yeah,
that's a nice looking car.
That's a Grand Cherokee, but the regular Cherokee would be the next version of it, right?
Where's the Cherokee? It's here somewhere there. That still looks the same. It's once they updated it and got rid of the headlights below the headlights look, it got a lot better looking.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like it stayed. It's totally fine. But like they took a Bronco and then like tried and they just made it worse. And then they're like, oh, sport. This is the sport version. It almost should be like backwards.
It took a Grand Cherokee.
It should be the Bronco, and the Bronco Sport should be sick. Nah, I think there's like two different classes.
I think the biggest thing is you find the Bronco Sport ugly.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I really do. Yeah. And I'm not saying that.
And I don't disagree with you. I think the Bronco Sport is ugly. I just also think the Renegade's ugly.
I don't think I think the Renegade has its own little quirkiness to it. Where like I could even go as far as to say like I think maybe the Cherokee is ugly. And that there's not everything that I love about it. I really don't hate this one though. But the ones that had the fucking giant fog lights.
The ones that, the older, like the first generation Cherokee, those were gross.
Yeah, those are definitely ugly. But
in fact, even the Compass had a bit of a glow up. The first generation Compass was
not
hideous.
so great. Yeah,
it was frumpy.
Holly had one. It's not so great.
Ooh, the CVT.
Yeah, dude, it was getting transcodes. We may have
allegedly.
We may have allegedly traded it in without saying anything. Just clear the codes in the parking lot. We're like, yeah, dude, it's good to go.
If they didn't check to see if the monitors were set, that's on them.
Yeah, I mean, they drove it and they were like, cool, throw you some cash.
I mean, to be fair, it was a Compass with a CVT. They have expected that transmission to blow up next week, even if it was fine.
Yeah,
at that point.
Yeah, we got heavy cash for this thing with bald tires, possible transmission problems. Yeah,
but yeah, my biggest issue with this Cherokee is that it doesn't have live axles and it's not squishy.
It also is sharing the same window line that you were just griping about.
No. See, it has a little bend up here, but it's flat.
There's one bend.
That's all it takes.
It's all it takes, man. It's all it takes.
But the issue isn't so much that bend; it's that this is not as boxy. Mixed with curves.
Yeah.
The boxy mixed with the curves is what gives me the impression that it's
or don't.
melting.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's quirky. I think it's like
it's
cool.
completely impractical, but I kind of want to take one of these Cherokees and put live axles on them. This is like the old XJs.
Yeah. I bet somebody's doing it. Dude,
I bet not.
I bet they are. They made two-door short bed Raptors already. And TRXs.
Well, the Raptors are a desirable truck.
But it's also $120,000, and somebody was just like, let's just cut it.
Yeah, because if someone's gonna buy that as a toy, they have the money to throw around like that.
I guess I don't know.
People buying this,
but that means
just can't afford a Grand Cherokee.
No, but here's what I'm saying. So but I mean, think about the margins. You lose money on every single one. There's no way that you can cut into one of those brand new trucks and then sell it for.
And again, if you have the money to buy that, you don't fucking care.
Yeah, but I'm just saying you have to spend a lot of money. You don't think somebody would spend a lot of money on a live axle?
No.
You would.
I would.
Fuck. See? There's a market.
Yeah, for
tap
4
in,
whole people.
Tap in, chat. Dude, should we do these live? You ever think about doing these live?
Oh, just get on Twitch?
Nah, we could just stream on YouTube. Just live stream on YouTube.
We could.
I was looking at it on YouTube and I was like, damn, we could just do that.
We could, but
because it'd be cool because people could tap in on chat. If people knew we were here, they could have questions and stuff. Or if we're saying shit, we're like, fuck, who was that? And then somebody's like, yeah, it was this person.
You guys are fucking idiots.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Yeah.
Yeah, but we would need to. That'd be hard to schedule because the only time we could go live is when we're recording this stuff.
Yeah, which is fine. You don't think somebody's just sitting at home on Sunday?
Well, I mean, what you want to instead of just recording, just do it all live and just put the live feed out there?
Yeah.
Just period.
Yeah. Period. Yeah, it'd be fun. And we'd be like, all right, we're going for
there
a
are people who have entire we need a screen to put up, an intermission screen.
Yeah.
But no, there are YouTube channels where all they
do is we'll be right back.
Just but they just hang out on Discord and Twitch and just shit on shit they find on Facebook Marketplace.
That's funny as shit. I'm with that. I'm also with that.
Except
I'm
the
surprised.
one video I saw, they were stop customizing your K-Trucks. It's not a cool JDM car. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
just you covering up your K-Truck that you just lowered. It's yeah, that's so dumb.
Well, right next to that video
that made me want a K-Truck I've always wanted a K-Truck, and then I saw people modding them, and I was like, why didn't I think of that? I was like, I want... Yeah.
Right next to it was this video, and I was like, damn. No, do that.
Yeah, exactly. This kind of pushed me to the edge where I'm like, damn. See, to me...
what's funny, I watched this video because obviously I did.
A Jeep Renegade is kind of the equivalent of one of these with a airbag.
No, not even close.
I mean, it's a little parts getter. You know? You cut the roof off of it, cut the back out, get a truck bed.
Look at this guy.
Yes. Are they racing this like legit, or does it just look cool? But he's got a racing helmet on. He's like legit racing this.
And
bro,
just look at how he fits into this thing.
How fast is this? Show
Not
me.
fast at all.
What? Okay, show me.
It's got the stock engine.
On throttle. Just cruising. That's just on throttle for 21 seconds.
So,
he's just putting.
Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen the Gears and Gasoline. We drove a time attack K truck at the racetrack. It runs like a 3-minute 27, and it's on throttle for 3 minutes and 14 seconds of that 3 minutes and 27
seconds. So you're really not ever braking.
He brakes like twice.
Yeah.
And lets off the gas like twice.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And the throttle is an on-off switch, basically.
Yeah.
He's just either flat out or off.
Yeah, everything that's on that is hurting him. It just made it slower. Like, it's just so much added weight. The downforce is probably fucking him up. The seats are probably heavier.
But the dash is carbon fiber.
There you go. Balance.
Yeah, but the guy who built this, he just wanted to, like, see how it would run with a stock engine and then put, like, a motorcycle engine in it.
Fuck yeah.
So he's just going to rock it like this. It's got, like, a Hall-Tech ECU that's not doing anything because it's carbureted.
But it's sick.
But it's ready for when he puts a motorcycle engine.
Yeah.
But, yeah. They're just going to go, and when that engine blows up, it's getting a motorcycle engine. I don't know what. They didn't say, but probably like
Dude, who gets to do these jobs?
People
We're building houses next to the track.
This is Virginia International Raceway, too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know. Who's building a house next to the track?
It might not be a house.
It's probably a house. It looks like look, if someone's not like just buying it, obviously it's way too close to the track for them to even zone that. But like,
look how cool that thing looks.
Yeah, dude, they're clearly building something. Oh my god, are we making a sandwich?
Yeah, to see if they can make a sandwich before it finishes this straightaway.
Oh my god. Yes, and it's peanut butter and jelly, dude. I'm so hungry. Let's get out of here, dude. Let's end it on this.
Yep. Let's end it on
K-truck racing. Guys, well, let's just make sure we get this sandwich done first. Yeah. Let's see the jelly. It switches over so you can see the jelly. That's a very yellowy peanut butter he's got there.
You sure it's just not your TV?
Ah, fuck, you're right. It could be. And he's even cutting it. Let's see if he gets through half of it. Oh, God, that looks so good.
And there's the end of the straight.
Yeah. So, yes, you can make a peanut butter and jelly faster than he can get down a straightaway.
And a K-truck can go down the back straight on Virginia International Raceway.
Yeah. And I'm still flat, the subtitle. All right, folks. Well, thank you for making it this far. If you did, like, subscribe. We're getting the fuck out of here. Bye.